Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Stardom Cast, your bi-monthly audio source of all things World Wonder Ring Stardom, right here on the Podmania Podcasting Network. I'm your host, Rob Gooden. I'm joined, as ever, by Chris O'Brien. Chris, it is a pleasure to see your beautiful face.
Yeah, it's weird since this is our second one doing this. And what I will say is that my guitar collection is better than yours.
Your guitar is, I can't argue with that. Yeah.
That's my sexiest one.
I mean, I'll be perfectly honest, the guitar that people who are watching this live can actually see is a Tokai. Now, Tokais are shit.
I don't have a Tokai. What are you talking about?
Do you have a Tokai?
No, I don't have a Tokai. Oh,
no,
but one you have.
Tokais
aren't that bad. The old Tokai Les Pauls were really good.
I think with Tokais is that it's like a Chinese-Japanese knockoff of decent guitars, which is why it's so cheap.
The old Japanese Tokais are really, really good. They're really sought after.
I think you're lying to me to make me feel better.
No, I'm not lying. No, that one's shit. But like the old ones.
What the fuck? There's no need for that. There's no need for you to abuse me like that.
I'm sorry, but if I didn't say that, like you'd think I'm lying to you. So if I do that, it means when I say nice things to you in the future, you won't think I'm lying. Establish a culture of truth, and everyone prospers.
Establish a culture of truth. I mean, to be fair, mate, I don't think there's ever a time where I can accuse you of being sugarcoating the truth or lying on these podcasts.
Is it like a PRS knockoff?
I'm not entirely sure. The difficulty is that obviously I live in Stoke, which is a difficulty in itself. But
you're left-handed.
I'm left-handed, exactly. And it's so difficult to find decent guitars that are left-handed because for so long I just bought right-handed guitars and restrung them myself. But it's difficult because the arm thing isn't right. The knobs and the volume and tone controls are all where my bloody arm is. And I'm a clumsy fuck anyway, so I'm knocking stuff off. You know, during gigs, I'm muting my own guitar. You know, all sorts of good stuff like that.
You know what's really bad for that? It's my Jaguar.
Jags are really bad for that.
No, because they have that. They literally instead of having the switch go downwards to turn it off, to turn it on rather, they have it go upwards. So when you're strumming, you fucking hit the pick.
You bring it up with you, yeah.
Yeah, and the bridge is awful. Like, it goes out of. I've been meaning to get a Mustang bridge for ages, but the only decent one I can find is like 40 quid, and I'm always like, that's a bit much for a bridge. And I know I'll have to like intonate it, and I also need new tuners. I hate tuners. I hate those tuners, like because they're the old ones, so you have to like put them in and twist.
Oh wow, yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
And like. Old people love those tuners, and I think it's just because they were the tuners that they had when they first started playing guitar, and they were like teenagers and still getting laid. Like, I think that's the only reason they like it. Luscious locks.
Thank you, Stretch7774 on Twitch.
Yeah,
he has got luscious locks.
But yeah, I ended up. It's weird because my movie list, because we just have movie list updates now. That's just how this podcast starts. We don't actually like.
I don't think it is. I think this is something that you've bought in. It was never formally agreed between the two of us.
But also, like, if I brought this up in front of Gaff, he'll call me taste shit, and I don't think I can handle that. So,
so what is the latest addition to the film list?
Well, the latest addition, I counted it, but like my nephew was round, so I watched a Thomas the Tank Engine movie with him. Because that's all he likes. And you know what? It isn't the worst.
Don't say it wasn't that bad. Don't say it wasn't that bad.
I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying it's not the worst thing on my list. It's only fifth from the bottom.
Oh God. What's below Thomas the Tank Engine movie on your film list?
Okay, so Suicide Squad's the worst thing I've watched all year. Not the new one, the old one.
Right, okay.
The one with Jared Leto's Joker.
No, I'm very familiar.
Then Twilight.
Understandable. Dog shit film.
Which I watched with my friend Hannah on my birthday because she was like, you want to watch a movie? I'm like, for your birthday? I'm like, yeah, that sounds fun. And she was like, you can pick. I'm like, never say that.
I'm sure you've told me this before. Why did you?
Because
why did you choose that?
Because I thought I'd get drunk and had fun. And to be fair, I got drunk and had fun. it's a bad movie, but enjoyed with friends.
Okay, what else is below?
Pokemon Forever, worst Pokemon movie, easily.
Okay, I mean, I don't think there's a good Pokemon movie. Sure.
First one. And then War of the Planet of the Apes, which I just found really boring. Like it went on way too long. And there was some cool set design, and the monkeys are cool, I guess, but that's about it.
To be fair, if you're watching a Planet of the Apes film and you don't think the monkeys is cool, I don't think it's the film for you.
No, that's weird, because the dinosaurs are the only part of Jurassic Park I like. Oh, that's the other thing I watched. I watched Bridge to Terabithia, which I remember scarring me as a child, and it scarred me as an adult.
Bridge to Terabithia? Which one's that?
The one where the girl dies.
Right. I'm going to have to talk to everyone about this. Sorry, you've just reminded me. So my girlfriend was like, right, I'm going to bed. I was like, that's fine. I have Stardom to watch, which tends to be the conversations we have. But she was like, she went downstairs, tended to the cats, came back up. Oh, I'm watching Saturday Night Fever. I was like, oh, never seen that.
Yeah.
So that was on with John Travolta. And we're watching it, and like it's all about disco dancing and, you know, that sort of shit, and John Travolta not being able to act and all that nonsense. And randomly, just in the middle of it, I was snapped out of what I was doing to hear John Travolta call someone a cunt. I was like, in Saturday Night Fever? Really?
Like,
oh no, Chris. Oh no, I am not done yet. You wait there. So the rest of the plot plays out. It turns into a gang thing. John Travolta rapes or attempts to rape his dance partner. And then one of John Travolta's friends, throws himself off a bridge.
I'd do that if I was John Travolta's friend.
What the fuck? I mean, I'm watching Saturday Night Fever just expecting it to be the Bee Gees.
It's amazing how many old movies are raping.
End with rape?
Yeah, like Blade Runner has one. Like Deckard is very rapey in that.
Oh yeah, there is quite a few.
To be fair, like you mentioned John Travolta saying cunt. It's always more shocking when an American, like if me or you says cunt, no one even thinks about it.
No, like, well, you're Scottish apparently, and that's just part of your vernacular.
But he apparently was wholly unnecessary.
I'm not the only one who doesn't think he's Scottish.
I know. But so like yesterday, like just before recording with Joseph and Forrest said cunt, and I'm like, wow, I was not prepared for that.
Hello, BMX Ms. _ I'm hoping I said that right.
Bex Ms. BMX.
Is that what he says? Oh,
yeah,
Bex Ms. It says Bex Ms, not BMX. I apologize.
I think you're teaching the next generation. So what have you thought of the Olympics so far, Robert?
I'll be honest, mate. I've watched nothing. I've watched none of it whatsoever.
It's weird because, as you know, I don't watch a lot of sport.
Okay.
But the Olympics.
Just say something really horrible then.
But the Olympics, I get weirdly invested, and like it's never.
The other day.
But it's never anything to do with it's never anything to do with like patriotism. I couldn't give a fuck. Like the other morning I woke up and just before work the shooting was on. Not the shooting, the archery.
The shooting. The shooting.
Yeah, like, you know, the Robin Hood shit. And I got weirdly invested. I really wanted the Italian guy to win, and I don't know why. I think it's because he had beautiful eyes.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I definitely haven't been invested enough in the Olympics to note just how beautiful people's eyes are, but that's just me.
Oh, because they do like extreme close-ups on the face, so like you can really see into the man's soul. He's a tortured soul, Robert.
The Italian guy who didn't win the shooting?
Yeah.
Did he not win?
No, he didn't win.
Hi, Velkage!
Oh, it's Velkage here, that motherfucker.
Velkage is here. Velkage says, Italian fingers clinched. Yeah, so as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching this, we're doing it live, so you can all interact with us. If you want to comment on Twitch, on YouTube, then feel free. Obviously, if you can't catch us live, then that is absolutely fine. The podcast audio will be up at 11 p.m. as usual, so please don't worry about that.
Which you know you're listening.
Say again?
Which you know you're listening at 11 p.m. tonight.
Well, yeah. I know that people were struggling with work and stuff, but it's nice to do these live. It's nice to see Chris's face. You're struggling with work.
I'm not, but I'm barely fucking doing anything.
Well, I must admit, Chris, like you've been at this job for how long now?
It'll be a month now.
Okay, and I think you have watched more wrestling in that month than when you were off.
It's on in the background. I always just have wrestling on in the background.
Okay, I don't understand. Are you not like? Do you ever go into an office or?
No, it's work from home. And to be fair, I'm only part-time, so I still have like the hours where I would be wrestling are basically still there, and I can still have time to do other things. Because let's be honest, the people who watch wrestling and do nothing else are the worst kind of people.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. No, and they also have the worst takes on wrestling because they don't have any basis in any other form of like anything.
I love the fact that you're just slagging these people off for no reason.
Oh, and I'm not being, okay, if you're listening to this and all you do is like watch wrestling, that's the only thing you do, that's the only thing you remotely care about, try something else.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I did think that we were going to end up with like, fucking hell. Watch
a movie, listen to some music. Hi, Pipio.
Hi, Pipao. So, yeah, obviously, this is going to go up at 11 p.m. tonight. Tonight, we are just talking the first 2 nights of the 5-star Grand Prix. I know that day 3 has happened and day 4 has happened, and one match from day 3 is up on Stardom World, and one match from night 4 is up on Stardom World.
Why did we do that?
Mate, I'm going to get into that in a minute. I am going to get the fuck into that in a minute. So, yeah, on night 3, I believe it's Azumi versus Shiori, which I have seen. And it is a fantastic match, really, really, really enjoyable match, which, you know, you look at who's in it and you're like, of course it is.
It's like that with most Stardom matches, though, to be fair.
Yeah, that is a good point. And then I can't remember what match is up from now. I think it's Saya Kamatani and Tam, I think, is up from now.
So it's going to be awful, is what you're telling me. It's going to be awful.
No, stop it. Stop it now, Chris. One match does not a wrestler make, despite what you apparently think.
I don't think it makes a wrestler. I think it could inform what the future could be in the recent future.
But that does sort of bring me into basically the only real bit of news that we're going to be talking about tonight. Though there is something I want to ask Chris about in a moment. So Stardom put on their English Twitter feed at we_r_Stardom. Says, we're on the road in Osaka Saturday and Sunday, then Nagano on Monday. This weekend's 5-star Grand Prix shows will go up on Stardom World when we return to Tokyo. So that means that on Tuesday, which is the 10th, I believe, you will get the rest of the Osaka show from August 7th. Wednesday, you will get the rest of the Osaka show from August 8th. And then on Friday, which is the 13th, Chris, I believe, you get the rest of the Nagano show from the August 9th. Now, the reason I wanted to bring this up, obviously, from what I gather, the sort of team behind the English, the Stardom World translations and things like that, I believe, is one person, and that is Sonny. From what I understand, I might be completely wrong. It's
That's
one
my
person
understanding as well. But like, my point is, Stardom have been very loud about wanting to run the Tokyo Dome in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
If you're making such loud aspirations, now is the point where you expand.
This is my exact point. You know, it's not like they're running venues that can't cope with live streaming. We've seen companies like TJPW have run, in fact, Velkage has just put in the comments about TJPW, but I know that TJPW have run small venues and have streamed from there. You know, New Japan have run small venues and streamed from there. Now, if you want to get from the next level, and Stardom's growth in the last 2 years has been exponential. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, but that's it. I didn't like The only thing I really didn't like about Stardom's upload schedule when we were smaller, well, not we were still fair, like we're still larger than most Joshi, but yeah, when we were like on the smaller end, was they just put things up in random order instead of just going show by show.
Yeah, they
like because at that point you're just being random to be fucking random, and sometimes it wouldn't even be the main event; it would just be a random fucking cat. Like
it'd be like match 3, and it'd be a 3-way or something.
Yeah, exactly. So like when we jumped ahead to put on like Jungle versus Mayu, I got that because that's the big match. That's the match everyone wants to watch. Stardom's one of 2 promotions that are going. Them and AEW. Yeah, no, that's the thing.
That's basically what we're going to say, Valkic. That's where this entire thing's going.
Especially if you're looking to expand worldwide. Another translator, a 4G router so you can upload things on the fucking road.
Yeah, exactly. Why the fact that they have to wait until they get back to Tokyo to actually upload things that's ridiculous in itself. But the fact that
I get it for smaller companies like BJW and BJ. I know part of it's to do with like TV rights, but like they take a while to get stuff up in there, and I get that because BJW is smaller than Stardom. Stardom, as it stands, I'm not sure where it stands totally in Japan, but like in terms of the people, if you're someone in Japan who's putting up like English commentary, so like you need Japan's, as your Dragon Gates, you need to have better output than what Stardom does. Like
I think we've talked about actually, Chris, on this very podcast, we talked about how if they want to reach that next step, if they want to get to that Western sort of make inroads on the Western coast, you have to try and put in that live streaming, not even that live streaming, same day uploads or something like that. Or there has to be something where, because you've got on the one hand, no one being able to watch the matches, but then the Stardom English Twitter account is posting all the results. And there seems to be a very simple disparity there. Now, I don't have an issue at all with the Twitter account posting the results. What I do have an issue with is the fact that I can't watch the matches for another 3 days. And for me, if you are trying to get to that next level, if you're trying to become this bigger company, and again, Stardom's growth over the last 2 years has been phenomenal. But that, to me, needs to be the next thing. And I know that one of the things that we've talked about on here is maybe it's to do with the translations and the pre-match promos and things like that, and be doing the translation so that we understand what's going on in the promos. That's fine. But in that case, hire some more people. It's not like they're short of money. They're owned by Bushi Road, who also own New Japan.
They're not being stingy. They're funneling money into this because they want them to remember Tokyo Dome in 5 years.
Exactly.
So, like, just go to them and go, we need this. Like,
we need 2-3 more people and a 4G router.
And who is it? Stretch just said would live streaming mean end of pre-match promos. Maybe, but also if they're planning to have an English commentary team, that kind of mitigates that. Like the pre-match promos are basically there for English speakers to know what the story is going into a match.
And to be perfectly honest, it's not like Stardom has the most difficult stories to follow anyway. One of the beautiful things about Stardom that when I first started watching, there was obviously no commentary, and it was the fact that a lot of the major story beats were very obvious, but you could also sort of glean a lot. You could imply a lot. You could infer a lot.
Like, and in terms of like title matches and how they're set up, they basically book random around their big shows. They go, this will draw, and put it on a show, and then they come up with a story afterwards. Like that, like Stardom stories aren't hard to get across at all. So like, end of pre-match promos will be more a thing where it's like it would be sad for Izix fans where they go, but if they kind of just stop, because they've been happening less and less recently anyway. Like they don't. Not even every big match has pre-match promos now.
No, agreed. And with pay-per-views and stuff, you got the really we've waxed lyrical about the production of the pay-per-views. The pay-per-views, the VTRs are so good and well produced.
They transcend the language barrier.
Exactly.
Because they're not hard stories to get across.
No. No. And the ones that are, the wrestlers do a phenomenal job of getting across.
Yeah, and again, the ones that are will be on big shows where they're planning on having English commentary anyway. So
exactly.
So we'll be able to get, because the English commentators we have Sonny, who's completely engrossed in the product, and you have Stuart Fulton, who does his fucking homework.
Yeah, he really does. He really does. And don't get me wrong, I am not saying to anyone, pardon me, there has to be live streaming. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
All I'm saying
especially
is...
for smaller shows.
Exactly. For something like a Shinkiba, the Osaka 2-day shows, things like that. But what would be good is either a same-day upload where, we can just get Sonny and two other people, one person translating the promos, one person doing the editing, and one person doing something else. Okay, one person doing the uploads. Get the show up either the same day or one day afterwards. That's what I'm saying. That has to be the next step, because the upload schedule is what is a massive thing about what is putting people off the product.
No, but that's the thing, because I don't mind it so much when it's like random B shows, because I'm not clambering to watch Saya take on Lady C in the first match. But when it,
why the fuck not?
If you're, because Saya sucks.
Whoa.
But like, if you can't get your big tournament out there in a timely fashion, like, I'm not being funny. All Japan right now is smaller than Stardom. All Japan can do it.
Yeah, agreed. No, completely agree with you. You've got to look at the moment. All Japan is a smaller company than Stardom. It's just the way it is in what they're bringing in and the tours they're doing. They are a small company. They have a far better lineage. They have a far better history. But at the moment, Stardom is bigger than All Japan. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, no one gives a fuck.
Exactly. Unless it's the Champion Carnival, no one gives a shit about All Japan. But they can get they live stream. And
I get part of the reason Stardom don't always live stream is because they have Samurai TV deals and they bring in more.
Exactly, it's the same with pay-per-views.
But again, timely, just get your big tournament up, and you're not putting every bit of a 5-star out in Samurai. Get that up fast. Because I'm not being funny with a 5-star. You don't really. You just need a little graphic that tells you the that tells you the standings. There's not normally a massive story going into a tournament match.
No, agreed.
I'm not being funny. If you need a big backstory to understand a tournament match, you're booking your tournament wrong.
Absolutely. If there is stuff that inherently goes, like for example, I enjoyed the Saya and Utami match. There was little callbacks to their match from Budokan, but that wasn't imperative to the story.
No, that's the thing. There's history in a lot of, especially like Momo and Mayu.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Maika Utami. There's stories inherent in these, but
you're gonna have that the more you wrestle each other.
Exactly. You don't, but for the most part, are you gonna enjoy Momo Mayu more if you saw their match last year? Probably not.
No, it doesn't impact that.
It doesn't matter at all. The most you might need is Utami and Saya are tag partners. That's the most you might need.
Which, if you watch Stardom anyway, you know that they're tag partners anyway.
And if not, you're probably either gleaming it from Twitter, or you can in your little graphics package, you can have a note like what we used to do in SmackDown, or what we're doing right now in Ring of Honor, where we have the little.
Yeah, because, and that's the thing. I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying that there has to be live streaming, but there is money there to put something in place when it comes to Stardom, whether that is the same day uploads or whether that is. Just a more streamlined. It cannot fall all on Sonny. That's not fair.
Maybe do what you did with Budokan, where you just put up the raw footage straight away, and then do the individual matches, and you can go if you want the promos, you can go watch the individual matches after But if you want the show, it's there right now.
There has to be something in terms of Samurai, because the New Japan shows they stream live.
Yeah, and they're on
when it's Samurai. You think about a lot of the G1 shows, especially the ones from Korakuen, they are from Samurai. And I don't know how this works, so it might not be possible. I don't know. But what I am saying is there obviously is something that can be worked out, or there is some sort of something that can happen where if it is owned by Samurai, if it is owned by a pay-per-view provider, something can be put in place where you can put it on World. So something has to be done, basically, for me anyway, as a consumer, especially during this time. You know, those first 2 days of the 5-star Grand Prix were phenomenal. In-ring action, that was phenomenal. And I want to bring something up, actually, Chris, that you told me in a minute.
In terms of pure in-ring action, there's not been a better Stardom show this year.
From top to bottom, there was no bad match.
Especially night one.
Oh, night one was phenomenal. Night one was absolutely amazing. So, yeah,
Sorry,
I think we have a bot in the comments.
Yeah, we have fantastic. Want to become famous? No, that sounds fucking awful.
What, want to become famous? Yes, that's why we're doing a Stardom podcast.
Yeah, we like a famously big promotion we're doing.
Anyway, like I was saying, when you are getting invested in a tournament, when the first 2 days have been fucking phenomenal, and then you want to watch some of day 3, you know day 3 has happened. No, Pipao, not Mina versus the Clown. No, bad Pipao. But yeah, obviously, you want to watch night 3. You know it's happened, and then the fact that you have to wait until Tuesday for it to actually be able to watch it, that's infuriating. And when it's something, you know, if it was something to do with contracts or something like that, then I could completely understand. We just have to deal with it. But when it is something that can be so easily rectified as literally hire more fucking people, or that's infuriating. And I feel like to put a massive bow on this, you know, almost 25-minute conversation we've been having, I feel like that needs to be the next thing we put in place. That has to be something we do. Whether that is putting something in place so that Sonny can upload on the road, or whether it's a case of hiring more people. Something needs to happen so that we can go out and watch, especially during tournament time, especially during the Cinderella, the 5-star Grand Prix, the Tag League to a less extent, but even so.
Yeah, no one cares about the Tag League.
You say that, genuinely, the Tag League last year was good. I enjoyed the Tag League last year.
There's a fair few decent tag matches in there.
Though, I will say, the one problem with the Tag League was the way they set it out so that you only fought people in the opposite block, which means that whatever the final was, we'd already fucking seen it.
Yeah,
which,
there's a point
which
where
made
like
no sense.
There's a point where you're being different for the sake of being different. It's like I remember there was an old image that I used to see get put around like Facebook, and it was like a bunch of forks and like a bent spoon, and it's like just because you're different doesn't make you useful.
It's the TNA syndrome, basically. Let's do a reverse battle royal. No, because that's fucking stupid.
If I ever run a promotion, that's going to be my first match.
If you ever run a promotion, that would be a sight to behold, my friend. That really would be a sight to behold.
If Cinderella goes back to a one-night tournament, we need to have it live. Yeah, it needs to be live, and it needs to be one night. It's shit over several nights. It's shit over several nights. It's bad.
Let's move on then. So we've already touched on this, but we're going to be looking at the first 2 nights of the 5-star Grand Prix from the 31st of July and the 1st of August. And what me and Chris have pretty much alluded to is the fact that those 2 nights were absolutely outstanding. The in-ring quality was absolutely fantastic. And something I wanted to talk to just to remind Chris of, when we first started doing this podcast, we made the comparison between the 5-star and the G1 Climax.
G1. Yeah, well, like the whole point was it's more about booking than it is about match quality. And to be fair, that's why they put it up to 20 minutes. It's just we didn't have like this year's field is just better. Like we lost Jungle, but we gained a Takumi Iroha and
Natsupoi.
So like we've lost some good hands, we got some good ones, and also Death is back. So but also it's a case of they started, because also a main difference between this 5-star and the G1 is that before it wouldn't start in a big arena, it'd be like in Shinkiba, and maybe the biggest show being Korakuen, right?
Yeah, agreed. Completely.
Here it starts in Yokohama. So like you can't have a small scale tournament match in a big arena.
No.
It just doesn't work.
No, I believe the 2018 and 2019 shows, they both started in Shinkiba. in front of 200 and something people and 400 and something people respectively. And then obviously I'm not even going to bother talking about 2020 because of COVID. But yeah, it's a huge step up from, a 400, maybe 500 capacity Shinkiba
to like an actual arena, like
to a 3,000 capacity Yokohama Budokan. So yeah, of course they had to up the fact that, and as well as the fact that it's not just going on to World, it's actually been streamed as a pay-per-view. They obviously had to, up the in-ring quality, but even so, the fact that out of 2 nights, there's one match I'd skip, and that's the match that we're going to talk about first.
I'd skip the first 2 nights of night 1, to be honest.
The first 2 matches?
Well, the first 1.5.
Yeah, no. Yeah, we're going to say the same thing. I can see that.
Me and you watch these in different contexts, because I imagine you watch these on your own with a slight derision from your girlfriend. And I ended up watching these with Valkic. So
right,
no,
okay.
Because he messaged me going, "Have you watched 5-Star yet?" I'm like, "No, I'm just gonna wait for a stream to come up." He's like, "Well, have I told you I had a stream?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, dude."
Right.
So it was so we watched in different contexts because
yeah,
I had Valkic. I know you haven't watched wrestling with Valkic, but he is a very excitable fellow.
Okay. I can understand that, certainly.
So he'll be screaming, and I'm like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, dude!" Like, let's go. So I was watching this at both a heightened sense. It was both a heightened sense of hype, but also anxiety.
Right, let's just kick into it. Let's just get straight into it. So, first night of the 2021 5-Star Grand Prix was, of course, from Yokohama Budokan on Saturday, July 31st, in front of 707 people. Now, we're not going to talk about the dark matches because, for a start, they weren't aired on pay-per-view anyway. But they have been uploaded to World. So, just very quickly, the dark match on night 1 was Riwaka, Rina, Saki Kashima, and I can't think who the other one was, defeated Lady C, Hanan, Azumi, and again, can't remember who it was. I haven't even made notes about it because it was just a case of...
Right, so
go on quickly.
It was Konami, Rina,
Konami, that's who it was.
And Saki. You're forgetting, you're as bad as Rossi.
I know.
Defeating Azumi, Hanan, Hina, and Lady C.
Something I do just want to ask you really, really quickly. Obviously, Natsupoi's back from her injury. Himika hasn't been on either of these shows, not even in the dark match. Now, obviously, I don't know the state of night 3 and night 4, but the fact that she's not even in the dark matches, and I know that is that a cause for concern, or are they just trying to rest her before her big matches?
Maybe, but also if you don't have any turn, they took her off the first bit of the 5-Star for a reason. So at the end of the day, if you don't have matches, why risk yourself? Especially when everyone else in DDM is busy, so you don't even have anyone to tag with.
Yeah, fair enough. It's just I want it to be all right, because the schedule that was initially released hasn't been adhered to at all, because initially I don't think it was supposed to be Unagi versus Tam on the opening night.
No, it's meant to be Ruaka, wasn't
it? Someone like that, yeah. But Ruaka hasn't had a tournament match yet, and neither has Himika. So, and obviously I know that Aroha hasn't, but she wasn't scheduled until later on.
Yeah, and to be fair, we kind of got lucky with Aroha being scheduled later on because half of the fucking Joshi scene got COVID.
To be fair, as well, we didn't expect Aroha anyway, and the fact that it was Aroha when both of us said it's probably going to be Rin Katakora.
Yeah, Rin, maybe Mei Hoshizuki.
Maybe Mei Hoshizuki. The fact that it's turned out to be Aroha, I'm just happy about that. So I'm not bothered that she's here.
I'm just glad it wasn't Avery.
Oh God, yeah, true. So we start with Red Block action with Mina Shirakawa. Moving to 2 points by defeating Fukiken Death with a roll up. Chris, 4 minutes and 49 seconds.
4 minutes and 39 minutes. Yeah, it was a death match. Mina was there.
Mm-hmm.
Marvelous roster is the whole, according to Valkyrie in the chat, the whole Marvelous roster is isolating. So
there you go. That'll be one.
But yeah, so it was fine. It was nothing really worth mentioning. Worst starter match ever. Oh my friend. No, it's not. Like, if you think that's the worst starter match you've ever seen, I can't name any off the top of my head, but I know it's not, because I know basically all of Mina's early singles matches were much rougher than this.
Yeah, pretty much all of Unagi's matches up to this point have been worse.
Mm-hmm.
And Santana Garrett.
No, also Brandy Rhodes has had tours in Stardom.
Do I need to remind you about Yoshiko versus Act Yasukawa?
We almost went the podcast.
Almost.
We had Christ, who else was it? Who the fuck was it? Oh yeah. Mandy Leon beat Io.
Who could forget that? Mandy Leon. Who could forget? This match was fine. I don't mind the fact that it opened and at least had the decency to be short. I think Mina attempting the flying head scissors on Death, despite Death being a good 1.5 feet shorter than Mina, was ambitious. It was a bold choice.
It's like that time Micah tried to be a power wrestler.
Yeah, at least they managed to sort of cover it up, despite the fact that Death nearly died, ironically. But yeah, Mina gets the win, moves to 2 points. Whoever won this match, I wasn't going to be particularly bothered by. We've said before that Death is going to play very much the Tori Yano spoiler card on in Red Block, so she'll lose here, but then she'll beat someone like a Mayu, or she'll beat someone like a Julia. So she's not going to go. Neither of these women, despite Mina's strong start, neither of these women are going to the final. So again, it's certainly not a match that I would in any way recommend you go out of your way to watch. But
it's for completionists only.
Literally completionists only. Let's move on then. Match 2, also from Red Block, saw Koguma defeat Natsupoi in 10 minutes and 16 seconds with the German suplex hold. Chris, now this, for me personally, was very much a match of two halves.
All right. Gary Lineker? No.
No, Gary Lineker. No, you go with Gary Lineker. Well done. Well done, my friend. The fact that you've managed to list a football person and in the right context has really impressed me there.
Yeah,
I know things.
Regina Phalange. Yeah, you could have cut the... That's right, because I was watching this Valkyrie and we were laughing because Natsupoi is like infamously quite stupid.
Yeah, I've seen that online.
Apparently she's won the, I think it's the TJPW award. I think it's called the what was it called? The Dumb Queen.
Bless her.
And like apparently Miyu Yamashita was very happy because she took the crown. And like when you think about it, that's such a mean thing to have.
It is like, really mean.
You're hiring people who throw themselves on the ground for a living and then asking them to take a fucking math test or whatever. Like
it is unfair.
Come on. But yeah, so she's walking around going, where could she possibly be? It's like, well, she's very clearly under the ring.
Yeah.
Like
let's be honest.
She's looking.
You'd have seen if she'd have got into the crowd, Natsupoi. So yeah, like, she is 100% under the ring.
She's in like bright blue gear, like she'd stand out in a crowd, like trying to look under the table. And I'm like, have you ever looked underneath the commentary table? There's too many wires going about for a bear to hide under there. So then they went under so then they finally found him, got bonked, and then like after all that stalling, it was stalling because they were given 10 minutes when they needed 5.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the reality of this match. They needed 5. You can't ask Koguma to go 10 in a singles match yet.
Definitely not. I will say, obviously...
sorry, just a quick update. It's not a math test unless it was just something like 8 times 9. She was asked about the smallest Japanese prefectures, answered Puerto Rico.
Velka just informed us that in fact it was, bless her, it wasn't a maths test. Natsupoi thinks that Puerto Rico's the smallest Japanese prefecture. Oh, for goodness sake!
Do I even know any Ontario? No,
that's Canada, mate.
I know that's Canada. Okay. It was a fucking joke.
I need to. I'm just checking. No, in.
A well-learned woman.
There was a few things, especially in the opening, that irritated me. I think the fact that the referee completely forgot to count to 20, apparently.
Velka's got really annoyed at me because I kept saying, "Oh, this was under pure rules. This would never happen."
Well, under ordinary rules, it shouldn't have happened, Chris.
I know. Have you ever watched a big pure match? They never count.
So they both hid under the ring, and then once that had finished, once we dispensed with the nonsense, we actually had a really quite entertaining high-speed match.
I love creative offense. Near the end there, they traded. It was like a high-speed match. It was a normal high-speed match. It was just back and forth. Koguma kept up fairly well. Like, very clearly, there was some points where it's like Natsupoi was going a bit too fast for her. But like otherwise, she kept up well. It's a pretty good case for her in the high speed division because that's clearly what they're grooming her for.
Do you think this is Koguma's best singles match?
Has she had other? I can't. If she's had another singles match since she came back, I can't think of it.
She had a match against Lady C. She had a really good one against Azumi from Korakuen, July 25th. That was good.
That'll be just before the 5 stars. So I haven't seen that one yet. So.
Oh, fair enough. That's really good. I think this was probably her best one. I agree with you. I do think that she was.
By the sounds of it, would be her best performance, but not her best match because that start to wherever had to be cut.
Yeah, it does give her the sort of inbuilt high speed belt challenge. I know that in the shows in the shows after night 4, I know that Starlight is challenging Natsupoi for the high speed belt again. So depending whether Poi still holds the belt, we could see Koguma as the next challenger. I think, quite honestly, Starlight has to win the high speed belt because this is her 8th attempt at the belt. And her second at Natsupoi. So surely, having turned heel, having done so well with this heel turn, she surely cannot then lose again to Natsupoi. And it's not like Natsupoi's had a short reign. She's held it since Budokan. So
okay, but in like Japanese wrestling history, surely they won't hold off on the big payoff.
The Naito thing, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, well, it's not just the Naito thing. How long did it take for Kawada to beat Misawa?
Yeah.
How long? That Dragon Gate this past weekend, where people are really mad that KZ didn't beat Skywalker.
Still, yeah.
Yeah. Like it's just like going. Will this Japanese company hold off on the big payoff? Of course they fucking will.
I think they've held off on it enough, Chris. Eight attempts she's had. This isn't the red belt. This is the high speed belt.
Do you know who are all those attempts at? Because most of them would have been freeways, wouldn't they?
I imagine so. I think she had a go at Yoniyama. Well, Death, Azumi, Natsupoi twice. I'm sure she's probably taken on Mayu when Mayu was high speed. Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you who the 8 people she's gone against. But for me, Riho, of course. But she needs to win this belt. She needs to win this belt. Anyway,
if she wins the bigger belt, that kind of because basically every belt was bigger than the high speed belt. So
future, really?
I said basically.
Oh, okay.
Like I can't make for big sweeping statements when we have 500 million championships and only 2 of them matter. So
though I must admit they are doing a far, far, far better job of getting the Artist of Stardom belts better.
Well, yeah, because literally they just saw them. They just see the artist and goddess belts should be the easiest fucking things because you don't have formalized tag teams. You just have main eventers and RVs. Like, quite frankly, the fact we were fucking up the tag belts so much at the start of the year shows that they just don't care about the tag belts.
Yeah. We never actually rated Mina versus Death. I gave it 2 stars. I mean, it was 4 minutes long and there was a botch.
Yeah. So yeah.
Kaguma versus Natsupoi, Chris. What would you give it?
2 3/4.
I gave it 3. I think I'm probably being a little bit generous, but to be fair, I think the final stretch leading to the finish, I think that was very, very good. It shows how Koguma is starting to get rid of that ring rust. Yes, definitely, as you said, there were points where Natsupoi was quicker and noticeably so. But I think Koguma did enough in that match to show that, she is getting there. Her deadlifting Natsupoi into the German suplex was good. I think she brings like a little bit of power to the high speed division as well as being able to keep up with the high speed competitors. I think that's something that the high speed division needs, just something a little bit different. So I gave it 3. Ultimately, we're quibbling 1/4 of a star. I don't think it particularly.
I wasn't quibbling. I was just going to let you have your rating.
Oh, thank you. We move on then, and we move on to match 3, which was again from Red Block, which saw Julia going to 2 points, defeating Starlight Kid in 13 minutes and 47 seconds with the Northern Lights Bomb. Chris, what would you like to say about this? Fuck off! It's not Mark Andrews. What the fuck? Why are you utilising the comment section? You coward! What are you doing?
I've called you Mark Andrews to your fucking face, bruv.
You're a dick. What do you think of this match?
So I was too distracted insulting you in the comment section.
Well, maybe you should be a little bit more fucking professional.
Professional? I'm not being paid for this shit.
Julia Starlight.
Julia versus... I've turned up with a bottle of wine. Anyway, but I'm drinking out of the bottle. Julia versus Starlight. This is very, very good. Starlight, it's weaker than their match in February because, while Starlight is about as good a heel as Julia is not as good a babyface.
It was a weird dynamic, wasn't it, to see Starlight as the heel, like a complete flip reversal from the February match.
Because I'm not being funny, Julia. They clearly want to make Julia into like an ace figure, and she's just not an ace. If you get me, like she doesn't have that instant I am 100% behind you that you need for an ace. Like the closest ace figure I can think about with her would be like an Okada, and that just comes off of their package to be very, very cool. Like both have like the big grand entrances, both have the music that sounds like hell's descending. But like as a sympathetic ace figure, which is what they were going for in this match, not so much. This match, like they were going for the leg, like Starlight was going for the legs for a lot of this match. But honestly, the match got much better when Julia started dropping Starlight on her head. Like as soon as that happened, it's like yes, it's like that's all I want. That's absolutely all I want from wrestling is people dropping people on their heads. Like that's all I need.
The old Japan formula.
I'm just watching it going, yes, I remember being a child.
I mean, you look at this match and I loved it. I thought it was great. Obviously, it doesn't touch their match of the year contender at Korakuen.
Yeah, but one at Korakuen is probably still my favorite starter match of the year next year.
It was an outstanding match, outstanding. Yeah. But there was little subtle nods to that match which I really like. I know that Starlight will come out with the mask in her second match as well with Saki, but to come out with that match, when you think about what Julia did to Starlight, not only beat her but embarrassed her, cut the mask off her face, to then come to the ring with that mask, almost as though she's trying to remind Julia, this is what you fucking did to me. I thought that was really nice.
That's what heel Starlight is. She's spiteful.
Yeah, exactly. Even if she does come out to Julia's entrance theme, which she did here.
Yeah, no, it wasn't the entrance theme. It was the entrance video.
Oh, it was the entrance video.
Oh yeah, I was watching this going, why is Julia versus Hannah like in Starlight's entrance video? By the way, searching the comments, Julia can still grow. She can grow, but also, oddly enough, again, me and Val could be talking about this. She's not one of these people who are going to be wrestling for long. She bumps too hard to be one of these people who are going to be wrestling for years and years.
She bumps really hard on her neck as well, really hard.
Yeah,
and whereas Mayu seems to just be impervious to that.
So like, because Julia can still get better. She has gotten exponentially better,
significantly better.
Like,
we wrote her up on this podcast.
I was complaining about her all through last year's 5-star,
100%.
And now I actively look forward to seeing her. She has improved, and she will probably continue to improve until she breaks down. And like, that's just the sad reality of how Julia wrestles.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what a sad thing to say, but ultimately, it's unfortunately true.
I can't criticize it because I'm sitting here going, "Yeah, kill her," but but also, like, I'm not being funny. We've seen this kind of wrestler before. We've seen this kind of wrestler in recent history. Like, Arisa Hoshiki was that kind of thing where she killed herself for a year and then will never wrestle. Well, she's acting now, I guess, but or like Okada, where he killed himself for several years and now is broken down
Completely. Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah, and because like, you look at the wrestlers who kept going for a while, they changed their style up at some point. So like, you need to be like that smart kind of worker, which I'm sorry, Julia isn't. She's not a smart wrestler. All the good things about Julia are very, like, you look at someone like Ashiri, and like, if she ever, when she eventually like gets hurt and can't go as hard as she does right now, she's 32, so who knows when that's going to happen. But like, when that eventually happens and she needs to slow down, she has an interesting ground game, and she can be like a Minoru Suzuki where she can just throw hard strikes and not have to bump back. You look, even on the side of the roster, Utami can be that person who can change. Starlight Kid has shown that she can, and Azumi as well have shown that they don't need their high speed tactics to be compelling. Julia is not one of those people. She's someone who bases her matches on big moves and big bumps, and one day she won't be able to take those bumps anymore.
Yeah, it's unfortunately true reality for a vast majority of wrestlers.
Yeah, and I can't criticize her for it because I watch and enjoy. Like, when people criticize wrestlers for, oh, you're bumping too hard, it's like, and they're pretending like they don't enjoy it. Like, it's just it's just a really sad reality. It's like how a lot of big musicians indulge in the lifestyle. It's like how a lot of big Hollywood actors burn out. It's like how a lot of Brit Reds are pedophiles. Like, it's just inevitable.
Why have you had to bring that up? Do you know what? Okay. SWG2, Mayu's been taking big bumps for 10 plus years. Yeah, she has, but she has also been going since she was 17.
Yeah, Mayu
unfortunately, it's a harsh reality that the younger you are, the better you recover.
But also, that doesn't mean it doesn't mean she's not hurting.
No, absolutely not. She had to take time off because of a back.
She has to take time off, and I'm not being. She has to take time off. She spent most of the year in tag matches. Like, she had, before the 5-star, she had basically one major. Even the match with Tam, she was going slower than usual. The only major Mayu of 2020 singles match we've had this year is the Yoshiko match, and that only went like 13 minutes, didn't it?
I mean, you can argue that the Gauntlet match was a significant, but again, that went 13 minutes, and that was technically 5 mini matches. Yeah,
and it's not just that. She was going up against someone like Konami, where you don't need to bump hard, and Children, where you don't need to bump at all.
Exactly. You've got Saki, who you don't need to bump for, really. In fact, the only one really I'd argue that is, I mean, no, there's no one really you have to bump for because the other one was Death. So,
it's
ultimately someone else has said that Mayu and Tam have both said that they are looking to retire in 2 years, which, for the sake of their health,
because Tam's another one where she doesn't really bump smartly, and and Tam's another one where she goes on raw emotion. So I guess if she wanted to slow down, she could, but then she'd have to put a lot more into her stories, which Stardom aren't always willing to do.
So a Momo pushing 3 years. No, No, she will no, Starlight Kid and Azumi will have leapfrogged her by that point.
Christ, I really hope if we're still doing this podcast in 3 years, we're not still getting this Momo being buried questions.
I'm sure we are. Going back to this match, there was some beautiful work. Like Starlight's work on the leg was great, but when they ramped it up towards the finish, that moonsault into a triangle choke was beautiful. And then they reversed that into a backdrop driver into a fucking screwdriver.
Yeah, it was the screwdriver made me pop very quickly. Retroactively annoying. I hate it when this happens. Retroactively, that catch into a triangle is slightly diminished by the fact she did it the next fucking night.
Do you know what? Don't care. Don't care. It's a cool move. She does it seamlessly and genuinely. I forgot.
Is she up against anyone else who's going to hit a
moonsault in red block? No, I don't think so.
No,
unless Death randomly brings it out.
She could catch if she caught one of Saya's.
Imagine if Saya can't get the Phoenix flash away and Julia catches her in a triangle.
Oh no, they're in different blocks, aren't they? Never mind.
Oh, Saya's blue block. Of course she is.
Yeah.
She gets Utami.
So yeah, we won't see it again. Maybe it's just, but no. I think if you've done a really cool spot, don't do it again the next night.
Yeah, I think that's being a little bit pernickety, but I do get where you're coming from.
Yeah, well, it more kind of hurt the Mayu match than it hurt this match because this match.
Oh yeah, definitely. This is the first one, so
it fucked. It went 13. Felt like it had enough stuff in there to go the full 20.
Oh god, yeah, absolutely. I thought it went a little bit short, to be fair.
Yeah, and Starlight continues to be a great heel.
Yeah, agreed.
She's just really good in every position you give her.
Mm-hmm.
Her entrance makes Twitter go really loud, which I'm not a fan of.
No, I know what you mean.
I don't like when Stardom Twitter gets really loud because when here's the thing, I don't mind Stardom Twitter that much, right? In terms of Twitter scenes, the only one I like what's weird, I really like Dragon Gate Twitter, despite the fact I don't watch much Dragon Gate because they're wholesome as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're just like, yes, I love my favorite. I really want my favorite to win. But then Stardom Twitter, they're fun. But if Stardom Twitter ever breaks out of that Stardom Twitter bubble, outside, so go into either other Joshi Twitter or pure Twitter in general, it's either breaking out because A, people are being overly horny, or B, someone's saying something stupid. Because sometimes Stardom fans can be overly defensive about watching Stardom.
Yeah. I did like the way that they told the story of Starlight Kid's growth. Post match after Julia's hit the Northern Lights bomb, Starlight kicks out the screwdriver, which is fucking mental. But then she gets planted with the Northern Lights bomb for the loss.
Very quickly, I'm just saying this to annoy Velkage. Northern Lights bomb, Kensuke Suzuki's move.
But post-match, Julia starts wrenching on Starlight's mask again just to remind us of the Korakuen show, which I thought was great. But ultimately, saying you're not quite there yet, kid. But on her way back, she's limping. She's showing a lot of pain, which ultimately shows how much damage Starlight's done again.
Starlight got when Starlight got offense on, when she got offense on Julia in February, it was a surprise. When she got offense on Julia here, it was expected.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the fact that Julia's expectations have grown of Starlight Kid as well, huge, massive. And it's the same thing we said with Syuri and Unagi on the last episode. That post-match did so much more for Unagi than the match. But here, it was both. The match did well, and then the post-match did fantastic as well. What'd you give it, Chris?
What did I give it? I gave it 4.25.
So did I. Did I.
Before we move on, I really need a bathroom.
Oh, you're joking.
I forgot to go before we started.
God damn it, Chris. We're live, man.
We're live. Well, you can keep the people entertained.
Oh, God's sake. It's a good job I'm cutting this out of the fucking episode. Go to the toilet and hurry the fuck up. Go. Honestly, absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace. Though we can now see into Chris's house. Quick, Rob, make fun of me. I do it on the podcast anyway. There's absolutely no point in me making fun of him because I do it anyway and he's used to it. But his hair's a bit shit, I suppose. It was quite well tamed before, but then he just seems to have like let it go again, which is it's really unfortunate. His guitars aren't as good as he thinks they are either. I'm not going to lie. All of them are fake. All of them. He'll say, "Oh, look at how good my Gibson Les Paul is." It's not. It's fake. It's a Japanese knockoff. And when he comes in, he'll get really, really defensive about how real they are, and they're not at all. In the comments, what were your favourite matches of the first 2 nights of the 5-star Grand Prix? I'll be honest, mine was fucking... Did you wash your hands? Did you wash your hands?
Yeah. Well, I put hand sanitizer on quickly because you were shouting at me to be fast.
So, everyone, Chris doesn't wash his hands.
You shouted at me. I was in a hurry.
Wow.
Nice poop. How long do you... If your poop's going out that fucking fast, mate, you need to go to your doctor.
Right, let's move on to match 4 of night 1, which is our first match of Blue Block, with Unagi Sayaka defeating Tam Nakano in 30 minutes and 16 seconds with Taiji Data. Our first real shock of the 5-star, Chris. But, weirdly, I didn't hate it.
It was a good match. Couple notes. First of all, Nagi strikes looked... like strikes. They connected.
Exactly. It's all we wanted. Just a little bit of power.
I don't ask a lot from my wrestlers. I expect if you're going to throw a punch, it looks convincing. If you're going to throw an elbow, you don't need to do as much to make an elbow look good. You just need to sort of lay it in.
Absolutely.
I'm not being funny. The dumbest wrestlers can lay in an elbow. Tomohiro Ishii doesn't have a brain. He can lay in an elbow.
It's true. Doesn't have a brain or a neck.
And he's really mad about it.
He is really mad about people who have necks. Genuinely, I enjoyed the fact that Unagi came out, tried instantly to sort of lure Tam into this false sense of security, and then was instantly overpowered. I love that. I really enjoyed the fact that Tam ultimately beat the piss out of Unagi again, and Unagi's offense came in during lapses of Tam's sort of in-game thinking. It really paid off ultimately.
Yeah, because essentially Tam just didn't feel she had to prepare for Unagi.
Exactly. The concentration just kept lapsing, and that was when Unagi sort of came into the fore, and then Tam would beat her back down again. And that's better. That's better than she has been doing. And I must admit, once I didn't think I'd be saying this, her selling of her ankle was actually really, really, really good. Really good.
Well, my bad was it? It was I didn't ever feel the need to go, "Oh, you're not fucking selling."
Her collapse into the corner when Tam whips her into the corner was great. Really, really organic.
Solid stuff. And then the only real downer I have in this match is they slightly botched the ending.
Yeah, a little bit.
And then straight away just did the same thing. Like Marks.
Well, I thought because of the finish was Tam sort of goes into a Tiger Suplex, which sort of goes into a face buster, which originally I thought was a botch, but she then pulled it out against Konami on the second night. It was far cleaner, but that, and then Tam picks Unagi up for the Twilight Dream, and Unagi reverses that into the Taiji Data for the win. I don't think it was botched. I just think it was really untidy. And, ultimately, Unagi is, she's the future Stardom champion. She's a rookie, ultimately. It was just, it did look a little bit awkward, as Plug Pedro said on Twitch. It looked awkward, which is unfortunate because the idea was great. The idea was there, and that was great. And we've talked a lot about Unagi's offense, and where I shouldn't show a lot here because a lot of it was just Tam beating the shit out of her, and her selling was fantastic. I actually really enjoyed her offense against Azumi on night 2. So there's significant
she's improving.
improvement
She wasn't just upping her game because she knows Tam. She actually got better.
And they played on that quite a lot as well, didn't they?
Mm. Yeah.
Which I enjoyed. There was some discourse on Twitter, and I can't remember who posted about it, saying about
discourse on Twitter. No.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. About how Unagi's taking Cosmic Angels off Tam. Now, for a start, that's nonsense. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, it would be an interesting storyline for the fact that Tam, who just wants to be accepted by people, just wants to be accepted by her friends. You know, she was constantly shunted in Stars. She ended up turning her back on Stars to create her own faction so that she would be accepted by Mina and Unagi. For Unagi then to turn on her would be quite an interesting story. They won't do it.
Yeah, I think that's
quite an interesting point.
I think if that's the storyline they're going for, they should play that over like a year, not like straight away.
If this is the seeds for something like that, all for it.
Also, Rob, do you like Sum 41?
Love Sum 41. I've seen your comment, chose to ignore it. You're not fucking funny.
You do look like you like Sum 41.
I do like Sum 41, yeah.
It's funny though, because I don't look like I like the music I like.
You don't. You look like you have only ever listened to Slayer.
Yeah, and like, if you wouldn't look at me and immediately think, ooh, 1975.
I wouldn't look at you and think Carly Rae Jepsen.
Right, look, Emotion is the best pop album of the last decade. Well, last decade, yeah. So,
yeah, that's on YouTube forever.
I've went on record and said that so many times. Like, can you name a better pop album last decade?
I don't care. Honestly, don't care. Really, really, really don't care.
Unless it's a guy with a green guitar singing about dicks, you just don't care.
I'm a very simple man to please.
Just the blowjob song on repeat.
Yeah, exactly. You would be forgiven for thinking this match is a Tam carry job, and it really isn't. It really isn't. Like, Unagi actually does really well.
Yeah, Unagi played her role exactly how she had to play her role here. So, it's like, I can't. If you want to see a carry job, go watch Tatsumi Fujinami vs. Sid from 1989. That's a carry job. Actually, go watch any Sid match with a good worker. That's a carry
Michaels, job. Yeah, go watch Survivor Series 96.
Yeah, or like Gresham versus that Starboy guy from GCW. That's a carry job. Like, I don't remember his name. Starboy Charlie. It's not Starboy Charlie. Star something. Is he called Charlie? I don't remember.
Is he even called Starboy?
I hope so.
Jesus Christ. I do like the fact that Unagi is attempting.
It is Starboy Charlie.
Things. It is Starboy Charlie. I do like the fact that Unagi is trying different things. I do like the fact that we're not just going to the 5 moves of doom that Unagi has, and that's it. The fact that
can you really call them 5 moves of doom though?
The 5 moves of tepidness.
The 5 moves of mild irritants.
5 moves of beige that Unagi has. Running through a repertoire of 5 moves, but the fact that she is looking to update them is it bodes well. And again, she brought out quite a lot of quite a lot of different moves against Azumi. So I'm very much looking forward to her tournament. 3 3/4, Chris. What did you give it?
I give it 3 3/4. If it wasn't for that last ending, we'd like tip the scales into great. To be honest, it was a really good match.
It was easily United's best singles match.
It's one of those matches you would not get as much out of if you haven't been watching Stardom.
Correct.
Like quite frank, like. It's weird because like sometimes like there's a lot. Honestly, most of Stardom's matches of the year are like that though. Like with the exception of like Utami's big title matches and say May versus Yoshiko, which is like a very obvious. Like when it comes to like say Starlight versus Julia, if you're not invested in the Stardom product, it's going to do nothing for you.
Yeah. No, agreed. I think as well, the way she's getting into the Taiji Diata is it's far less convoluted than it was, or she just seems to be a lot smoother with it, because it is ultimately quite a cool finisher when she hits it properly. And when she transitions into it well, it's actually quite a cool finisher. It's just a shame the first couple of times it was, quite difficult to get into. But
it's kind of like Will Ospreay Stormbreaker, where the first few times did it, you had to do it really carefully, and then he could just go into it.
And then exactly.
Like because it went from being one of his biggest problems to not even in the top 10 of Will Ospreay problems.
Okay, we carry on with Blue Block then with Syuri defeating Saya Kamatani in 14 minutes and 37 seconds with the Ruin. The flame drop is what it translates to. But yes, Chris, what do you think?
I liked it. No, I'm really understanding that. Because I really like basically everything from now on. I really like. Me and you got into an argument about this match, but not so much about the match itself.
Did we?
But more, with Syuri versus Saya.
Yeah. Did we?
Because so you messaged me going it was great, and I'm like, I'll talk about the match and then we'll get into why you're a cretin. Saya threw some decent strikes in this match.
Mm-hmm.
Only when Syuri started shooting on her.
Oh, I see. Yeah, we did talk about that. No, you're right. Yeah, no, we did talk about that.
Because, I'm not being funny, before Syuri started shooting, Saya was on her bullshit completely. And, I'm not being funny, because I feel like Saya just got actually punched. And then it's like, oh shit, I'm in a fight now. I literally think that's what happened. Syuri just, shot on Saya to make her hit well.
There was one point where I genuinely thought Saya was going to cry.
Yeah, no,
she turned to the camera and I was like, is she okay? And then she just turned around and proper lamp to one back. It was great.
Yeah, no, but I was so... Because, that's what... Saya's one of those people where she has good moves. She can get people on her side, but she can't bring that... She doesn't bring the what's the best way to... She doesn't bring intensity. That's not what she does. You need to bring the intensity in, because then she'll endeavor to meet your level.
Yeah,
and that's where Tam sort of fell apart, because Tam brings intensity, but in a very emotional, not in a visceral way. Tam brings emotion in the sense of, and sort of in the same way as Saya, where she'll turn to the camera and look like she's about to cry. So when you have two of those people in the ring, unless there's a really well built story, which the match at Yokohama wasn't, it's not going to go down too well. Whereas here, Syuri is a badass and just hits you, just straight up hits you.
My question in regard to this, I completely agree with you. There is a definite change in Saya, because once Syuri slaps her that hard that it echoes around Yokohama, Saya starts delivering proper slaps, and
they're not
instantly brings an air of legitimacy.
Valkyrie is saying in the chat, Saya hit her back liked it. It's compared to Syuri, absolutely, but by Saya's standards, these were much better hits. And
what I was going to say to you was, do you think that? I don't know why I'm asking, because I know you don't. But do you think that could have been a little bit of story, a little bit of character development, as in Saya, Saya bought her game to Syuri, and Syuri basically said to her, this isn't enough if you want to beat me.
If she does this against, say, who else does she have left? She has Maika, Kanami, and Utami. We'll talk about the Utami match in a bit, but if she brings that kind of thing with them, then yes. If not, then I think it's just because Syuri, but I think I compared Syuri to Minoru Suzuki earlier, but that's also something Minoru Suzuki's really good at. He can he forced that intensity out of Sanada, who has no emotion
whatsoever.
If he cried, he'd rust.
Yeah, so for quite very, very apt nickname.
Yeah. It's basically him and Dean Malenko and all of wrestling who feel nothing. So yeah, if she continues that trend, then sure, I can see it as character development. If it's just in this match, it's because Syuri can drag anyone up to that level. Like
Maybe.
like we said in the last podcast, if Unagi didn't have to go 90 minutes of that match would have been intense.
Yeah, we both said that match was far too long. I just want to say hello, Armani Shoe Exchange. Just thought it's wild how Saya has become a consistently great big match performer, and she's only hitting her 2-year anniversary this week.
Also, in the case of Saya,
that's fucking mental.
In the case of Saya, she provides something on the Stardom roster that isn't there. Like she's a high flyer. Like I understand, like people used to fly more. Like Io used to be around hitting high flying moves. From what I've been told, Mayu used to fly around more than she does now. But so she's Stardom's resident spot monkey. She's here hitting big moves, like from the top rope and jumping to the outside and stuff like that. And I get lots of people doing that, but like she does it in sort of the stereotypical spot monkey way.
Yeah, she brings that constant air of sort of innovation as well, which is really cool.
Yeah, she's kind of what Jim Cornette thinks Kota Ibushi is.
Just piggybacking on what Armani Shoe Exchange said. We go back to the Nippon Budokan show, the All-Star Cinderella, and you think about the fact that just a year previously, Utami and Saya were fighting for the future of Stardom Championship. Yet here,
it's a thing on up and down the Stardom roster though, is that everyone we had problems with this time last year, we don't really have a problem with now.
Agreed.
Stardom wrestlers tend to get better or are deaf where you don't need to get better. So like it's rare that people regress in Stardom. Normally when Stardom wrestlers regress, they're about to retire anyway.
No, agreed.
So
I do like the fact that she hasn't been able to hit the Phoenix Splash in either of the matches that she's had. I really hope they continue that throughout the 5-star.
I hope they find ways of getting out of that without her perpetually just eating shit.
Well, the two ways she's got out of it against Syuri and then against Utami have been very different. And I thought it was a really good character point against Utami because don't forget she missed it at Budokan as well. So, you've got that, again, I think I brought this up in our review of that show. You've got, to a far lesser extent, but you've got the Naito thing with the Stardust Press. You've got, if this becomes a thing where...
But, like, also, this isn't just in, like, one very specific case. It's like, she never hits this fucking thing. It's more like...
She hit it 3 times, I think.
She's hit it a few times. She's missed it more than she's hit it, though.
Yeah, 100%. What we've never seen since at Wrestle Kingdom.
It's more like a... It's more like Ric Flair on the top rope than it is.
It's going to go badly.
Yeah, like it's going to go badly, or if you're against Ricky Steamboat, it might go well.
Ultimately, Syuri defeats Saya. Towards the end, I quite like the fact that
with an emerald Flosion.
I don't know how to pronounce it. It's called Ryan or Ryan.
Look, I'm sorry, I'm never not going to call it an Emerald Flosion.
That's fine. We can call it an Emerald Flosion if you want. That's absolutely fine.
You can call it whatever the fuck you want. I'm just never not going to call it an Emerald Flosion. It's like if someone hit a burning hammer and went, "Oh, it's for lighter fluid." I'm like, no, it's for burning.
Fucking terrible move name. The lighter fluid.
I put myself on the spot there.
You really did. I do like the neck destroyer. Always an Emerald Flosion.
Yeah, no, that's
like, it's going to be called an Emerald Flosion now.
No, but like
to be fair, it helps because I can't say whatever the fuck it's called. So
also,
that helps.
It's just straight up an iconic Puro move. It's like
What is a Flosion though?
From what I understand, it's like Emerald Fusion, and it's just been translated. It's just not been translated well. From what I understand, I might be wrong.
People in the comments will tell us.
But like, same with like when Brie Priestley was hitting the Japanese cyclone suplex. So everyone else is Japanese the cyclone suplex, apart from to me, who called it Queen's Landing to annoy people.
Yeah, I do the same. Oh look, it's Queen's Landing.
Yeah, Brie Priestley's move. No, I love calling like when I'm around Vow on my live streams. I love calling the Northern Lights bomb Julia's move just to annoy.
something that I do like, and towards the end, just before Shiori got the victory, Saya was on top. Saya was convincingly on top as well, but couldn't quite put her away because of her inexperience. She tried to be a little bit too risky. She tried to be a little bit too fancy to get that win. And I think that's a really good story beat as well.
Yeah, because with most wrestlers on the Stardom roster, they either need distance to hit bombs or have you in close range for a submission. Shiori is one of the few people where convincingly it's either. Like Shiori, until the Emerald Floating came along, didn't have a set finish really. She kind of just finished matches however she pleased.
Yeah, definitely.
So like when Shiori goes, there's not really a comfortable position for Saya to go. Who like Saya objectively needs that distance. She is not a mat wrestler. Like at all. Like if you ever see her go for like mat wrestling, it's fucking awful. Like she sort of goes to the Okada school of mat wrestling where she just reaches for the nearest limb.
Reaches for a limb, that'll do. But yeah, honestly, I love this match. I love the post match as well. Again, Shiori is queen of the post match. Proper, attempts to show respect to her, and Saya just slaps her in the face, and it was a hard slap as well, which is good. And Shiori just sort of nods at her, and she's bought that fire. She's rekindled the fire in Saya, Saya fire. Which
that's what makes you laugh.
Yeah, mate, I'm an easy man to please.
You call me simple. At least I laugh at like wordplay and shit. You're just there going, it rhymes.
How is rhyming not wordplay? Surely by its very definition, rhyme is wordplay.
Dr. Seuss must be your favorite thing.
Dr. Zeus? Dr. Seuss is great. Green Eggs and Ham? I can't... Oh, Cat in the Hat. That's the other one he did, didn't he?
There's loads. There's the Lorax. There's Horton Hears a Who.
My God, Horton Hears a Who.
Horton Hears a Who.
The Grinch, obviously. How could we forget about the Grinch?
Yeah. Dr. Seuss did good.
How did we get from Saya and Shiori to... I don't even want to...
I am a magical conversationalist.
Match rating, Chris.
4.
I give it 4.25. I think I liked it a little bit more than you.
Yeah, because I'm not being funny for the first 50 minutes. I want to say for the first 3 or 4 minutes, Saya was up in her bullshit in the sense that she can't throw a strike unless someone's hitting her. So fair enough. That's a good third of this match at that point. So
let's move on then. Further Red Star Block action with Momo Watanabe defeating Mayu Iwatani with the Peach Sunrise Bomb. In 17 minutes and 37 seconds. There have been, I've seen 3 different names. Officially, Momo, who seems to be going into this tournament with a whole like no level bullshit. And just to illustrate my point, she was interviewed backstage about a new move and was asked if it had a name. And to which she responded that she's been too busy in the tournament and to bother thinking of a name. That is great. I love that over the fact that you are just focused on the tournament.
I really want in kayfabe for it to be she just did it in the moment. She was just like, I could go for a Peach Sunrise here, but I'm gonna drop her in her head.
I'm gonna drop her with a driver instead. I mean, fuck, we might as well cut straight to that move then. Because it was kind of like, have you ever seen Shane Strickland's, who's he called in WWE's Isaiah Scott? Isaiah Scott,
yeah, or Scott, Killshot if you watch Lucha Underground.
Or Killshot, yeah.
Yeah, it's like their JML driver, but with less care about where someone lands. It's like I saw someone call it a made in Japan kind of move, but she doesn't sit out. She goes to her knees.
It was a variation, I think, of the made in, or at least it looked like a variation of the made in Japan.
Very similar to Nakuri Doi. Nakuri, I don't know how to say it. Very similar to Doi.
Muscular Bomb from Naruki Doi in Dragon Gate. Apparently, according to Armani Shoe Exchange. So I'm not massively well versed in Naruki Doi, so I couldn't tell you. But
is that like Cowboy from the Cowboy from Auntie Donna's Big Ol' House of Fun?
I haven't a clue. That reference has gone completely over my head, mate.
Yeah,
Momo is a big Dragon Gate fan. That actually might make sense then. In that case,
if she was make sense. If she's a big Dragon Gate fan, that explains why she never gets a win.
Why? Why does it?
Because people like her, so of course she's not going to get. I'm making a KZ joke again.
Oh, are you? Oh, okay.
I'm trying to make a Dragon Gate joke as someone who only watches the big Dragon Gate shows.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
like,
love KZ.
Boo, boo. Wow, I think
you're not exactly getting yourself over here, buddy.
Yeah, no. To be fair, this is where I unwind. I have to get myself over on YouTube. I say that I didn't end up doing that with my last. I don't think I endeared myself to Stardom fans in my last video.
No, well, that's partly because you're a bell end.
I'm not bell. Wow,
it's Momo time. Love it. Genuinely though,
to go calling me a bell end.
This match was outstanding. I mean, aside from the fact that, as Plug Pedro said, the move fucked. Aside from that, this match was fantastic. This match was excellent.
The one that it was a slightly slow start. A slightly slow start.
Yeah. Do you think... I've noticed this. Do you think that's more because Mayu... it's a rematch from probably one of my favorite matches of 2020 from the 9th anniversary show. She beat her there. Do you think it's a case of Mayu being complacent Mayu, which is a character trait, a well-versed character trait of Mayu, that if she's beaten someone, she becomes complacent dickhead Mayu? There was moments in this match where she was actively being complacent and dismissive of Momo.
I think that's a valid interpretation of what happened. I think part of it might be because they wanted to go 14 and we went 7. They almost went 18. I think part of it was they didn't have enough plan to hit the time. And to be fair, that's fine. Like, they don't decide how much time they get. So
no, agreed. I did think it was an interesting disparity between the ring entrances in Momo storming to the ring, like proper storming, no bullshit. She literally stormed to the ring. She was in the ring. That's it. Mayu took that long getting to the ring because she was high-fiving fans. She was, doing all this. She didn't come out for ages either, whether she got lost, which is typically Mayu.
She did the Rey Mysterio special.
Exactly. To the point where her theme had to start again. I didn't even know I didn't realize that the theme had an end.
I thought it just looped. I thought it just went. I just thought it did that over and over and over again.
Yeah, just on repeat. But the fact that you saw Momo's face and the fact it was laser focused, and that's what I want from Momo. I don't want any laughter. I don't want any bullshit. I literally want her laser focused on fucking someone up, and that's literally all I want from it. And here, she did it brilliantly.
What I really want one day is for her to get in like a proper blood feud where it ends in like a big no disqualification match, and then for her to smash a rice bowl over someone's head.
Is that some manner of comment to the Micah situation?
Yeah, the Micah situation. But Stardom and Mike is really, really lucky that Stardom doesn't have a HR department.
Yeah.
Because she has weight shamed at least 2 of the roster members and sexually harassed at least 1. So
Armani Shoe Exchange, yes, she does come across far bigger without the mask. Definitely.
Yeah, I think the thing with the mask is that it's a bit gimmicky.
Well, I'm wondering because you've got half of Azumi came out night 2 with the mask on, but Utami hasn't come out with the mask on, Saya hasn't come out with the mask on, and now there's Momo. So I'm intrigued as to know why this is, if this is a new thing, or if this is just because it's the 5-star.
Maybe they just forgot to pack a mask.
But they have a mask. They have it on their hand.
Oh yeah.
So maybe they forgot to pack a mask.
Man, that's not beyond the realm of
nonsense.
But this is a company whose ace can't make it to a bus on time.
Who's a plane, I think.
Yeah, that's even worse.
It's fucking great. Yeah, just going back to what we said about Mayu being lazy, sort of lazy and not lazy, but strutting around the ring, knowing that she's beaten Momo before, and then Momo just deciding, you know what, fuck, and just belting the shit out of her with kicks. And that's when the match ramped up, because from me and Mayu,
because it went from nothing to everything all at once.
Mayu starts targeting Momo's leg with the whole, if she hasn't got knees, she can't kick me in the chest, which is very wise. It's a very good tactic. But then once we've had that, Momo just fucking unleashes on her. And, you know, whether it's just... Go on.
So I just thought, okay, so you'll love Unagi unlocking the banned move called the mountain range from the top. What? The mountain range from above.
What? I don't even understand what that means.
More sexual harassment incoming between wrestlers. Oh, amazing.
Oh, lovely.
Prison.
I love the fact that Momo decided it was her turn to try and break Mayu's neck because both of those B drivers, the one on the apron and then the running one afterwards in the ring, it was like there was literally no bullshit whatsoever. Momo threw Mayu around like she hit her with the Peach Sunrise. She then hit her with, like, didn't even bother pinning. After that, went straight to this new move, you know, the muscular bomb, if we're going to call it that. Proper destroying Mayu.
We're like among the niche stardom community who listens to podcasts, we're relatively prevalent. We could come up with a move and have it spread, move name and have it spread among stardom Twitter.
Okay, in the comments of the people who are watching this live, can you please come up with some ideas for Momo's new name? And no, Armani Shoe Exchange, you can't just use the muscular bomb. I want
to call it the Gonzo.
No. The Gonzo? Why the Gonzo?
Because I really like that Muppet.
Okay.
And it sounds like a move name.
Okay. I do like the fact Stardom English was calling it Peach Bomb. That's what I assumed it was called. I saw it was called the Peach Sunrise Driver, the Peach Bomb, and then just it hadn't been given a name.
Maybe it's the A driver because she has the B driver.
She does. Maybe it is the B driver, the A driver. Sorry.
Maybe she can just come up with different drivers and have like the whole alphabet.
Maybe.
And then she finally gets to the Z driver, and instead of the Z driver, it's called Plan Z. And it's
then she just wins the red belt with it.
No, it's like Plan Z. It's like, it's amazing. It's beautiful. It's lemon scented.
Overall, this is my match of the tournament so far. Well, joint match of the tournament. I thought this was fantastic.
It's a very good match.
Momo just did not come to play. I think her and Mayu have outstanding chemistry.
My main problem is the slow start, which I mentioned at the start of the review.
That's perfectly reasonable. Me personally didn't bother me at all because, like I said, it fit the narrative of Mayu just not taking Momo seriously. And again, she has that record of doing that against opponents, not taking them seriously, starting slow, then realizing that she did it against Iroha in the second match at Corrigan, where she knew she'd beaten her once, didn't take it seriously, and then got the absolute fucking bejesus beaten out of her. So it's something that she does. And I think with someone who is, as we said before, so laser focused, especially in this tournament, I think doing that against Momo, it worked really well. It didn't affect the dynamics for me. In fact, it enhanced them. So I gave it 4.5, Chris.
I gave it 4.25.
Fair enough. Let's move on then to my next joint favorite. In fact,
this is my favorite.
Yeah, we'll discuss it. So
I like how you going when you said it's your joint favorite. Like me saying it's my favorite match of the tournament is like this big revelation. Why are you going? Because we both agree it's one of the best matches of the tournament. But
agreed, yeah.
But seems completely.
Why are you shouting at me? Stop shouting at me.
You unnecessarily himmed.
Right. I know you're wine drunk.
I'm not wine drunk. It's only half a bottle, you fucking pussy.
Honestly. 5-star Grand Prix blue block match with Micah defeating Utami Hayashida with the Michinoku Driver 2 in 19 minutes and 26 seconds. Driver. Fucking hell, what a Michinoku Driver. Jesus Christ.
Taka wishes.
Honest. Oh, do you know what? No, I think this is my favourite match as well. Just looking at my notes for this match, I think it is my favourite match of the tournament as well.
Let's kind of have so we didn't have the slow start problem of Mayu, and because they went right into grappling, but like it was actual like grappling. We were actually like jostling for position. This isn't like when Saya tries to grapple. It's like they're actually two fairly compelling grapplers. And then, so like it was that for the start, and then as soon as Micah catches Utami into the outside suplex, the match from there, just game over, man. Nothing. No, I'd be surprised if someone topped it this tournament because it was just so good. Because then like she starts going for the hand, like relentlessly going for the hand, like to the point where she's doing like her drop kick into the ropes, but hitting the hand instead. And I love when wrestlers do that. I love when wrestlers change up their offense to go after a limb. And then so like to be honest, the Sylviami don't need to do much because normally it's not like the leg where like they're taking away what you stand on. If you hit someone with an arm, you can just go afterwards and not capitalize on it, and people will go, yeah, that's a decent arm. So it's basically, I say it's what got Goji Izaki through last year, but you know his shoulders legitimately almost fell off. So, but then here like it was actually affecting Utami. She couldn't hit she couldn't hit a razor's edge. She couldn't hit
the BT bomb.
Yeah, she couldn't hit anything because her arm was taken out, and she's a power wrestler, so she can't do anything. And like when they got, and then like Micah did even better because she goaded. She knows Utami's a fucking hothead, so she goaded Utami into a fucking lariat exchange, which further destroyed VR.
Honestly, the selling in this match from Utami was absolutely fucking brilliant. It's probably
it's the best arm sell this year.
It's one of the best sell jobs
I'm trying to think
in the entire of wrestling that I've seen this year. And I don't care if people come at me going, no, you haven't seen this. It is one of the best sell jobs.
To be fair, if they came out and said, well, you haven't seen this, you probably haven't.
So I probably haven't. But it's akin to when Tomohiro Ishii was facing El Desperado.
The leg crumble.
The leg crumble on the powerbomb. This, where she's in the guillotine choke, and, you know, she's done it before where she lifts up using one arm into the powerbomb and she just collapses.
You know who's really good at selling is Keiji Muto, who's convinced everyone he's an old man who can't wrestle.
But yeah, just it's such a tremendous match. Micah.
You know what was a good sell this year was Akito and Yuki Ueno for like sell that Ueno did.
Skywalker vs. Shida was good actually as well.
Skywalker vs. Shida was good. It's ropey sometimes in Skywalker Ishida, though.
Yeah.
Jamie Hayter versus, you won't have seen this, but Jamie Hayter versus Jessica Troy in PWA, that was a good leg sell from Troy. So
see, I just think this. I am a proper stickler when it comes to selling.
But we were talking leg sells, and I'm not being funny. No, like so many people just straight up don't sell the leg properly. Because they'll be, like pretend it's hurt and then be running about like a fucking idiot. Basically, Kenta Miyahara. I'm calling out Kenta Miyahara.
Beep, 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 beep.
Dick. Because like in his match against Shitara Ashina, and like actually me and Vilkas were talking about this on when we were watching the stream. Where like he doesn't think it's that big an issue because like the ace overcomes it or whatever. And actually I think we'll get into that when we talk about Tam Konami. Fuck off. I can't believe you made a fucking banner.
Do carry on.
And one level I kind of get it, but also I don't know, I think if you're gonna spend so much of your match going after a limb, it should play in some way.
Oh, and it did here. It did here. It was so good.
Because you're at that point where she couldn't do anything. Like, she couldn't hit her big moves because her arm was so destroyed.
The fact that the entire finish, we hadn't got necessarily that massive outstretched, reversing everything finishing stretch. No, you look at a Jay White finishing stretch where everyone's reversing moves and things like that. This, it was effectively 3 moves. Utami goes for the torture rat bomb, can't do it. So arm collapses, she collapses. Micah straight away chokes her out. From the choke out, goes into the Michinoku Driver 2, end of match. Beautiful. And at no point were you not convinced that Utami's arm wasn't fucked. Were you not convinced? Like, there was no point where I was thinking, why is she doing that? Why is she doing that move? Her arm's knackered. There was no point where I thought that. like you said with the Lariat exchange, Mike attempted, and let's just say for a moment, Micah is still effectively a rookie.
Yeah, they're both super rookies.
People forget that.
That's why I like this dynamic, because it's for 2 generations of super rookies. I mean, and they've always been like, and that's been since their match in Just Tap Out. That's always been their dynamic. It's why I said it on Twitter. I think a man who's True Exchange actually disagreed with me. I just forgot to respond because I saw it. No, because we're on different time zones. I woke up at like 7 a.m, so it's like I'll respond to this later, and then just straight up forgot to respond back. Like,
he's just a rude fuck.
I'm not a rude fuck. Fuck off. I respond to like random people who slip into my DMs. I'm not rude. I probably shouldn't. I got a dick pic once. That was awful. Anyway,
how dare you get your sleep?
Okay.
Yeah, you dickhead. Wanting your 8 hours.
I don't. I like sleep.
Honestly, if you know Chris, you know he doesn't get his 8 hours at all.
No, I don't.
He sleeps for about 3.5 hours. He's like a vampire. Look at the fucking state of his skin. I'm talking about complexion as in pasty, because you are Scottish. Because there's no sun in Scotland.
I'm not being funny. There's no way you could have explained that, which makes me less mad at you. Just going after my fucking physical appearance. Fuck you. I think you're looking Mark Andrews. He's a handsome man.
He is a handsome man.
He is a handsome man, and he plays bass. It's like if he has a big penis.
Do you know what's hilarious? And you know, I sent you and Garth that pic. Sorry, I don't know why we're not talking about Stardom anymore, but give us a minute. Junior are playing obviously near us, literally down the road. No, I know. I'm not going either. Fucking hell. But I showed my girlfriend the picture that I sent to you and Garth, and said, I can't remember if I said you or Garth, says I look like him. And my girlfriend looked at me and went, actually, yeah, you do. I was like, sake. I mean, I do. It's quite scary how much I look like Mark Andrews in that photo.
Your girlfriend's weird because I've never directly interacted with her, but she's insulted me twice. Well, like your girlfriend.
Oh yeah, yes.
Like once I just messaged because Rob and Garth are 2 completely like old grumpy fucks, and so I messaged the chat going, I'm really liking the new 1975 album. Why? Because I really liked it, and Garth, you haven't listened to it. No, but then like I think I said that for some reason your girlfriend found out and sent you a meme about the 1975, and it was something like the 1975 what was it? It was like they just write songs about how hard it is to be 23. And to be fair, so did Blink-182. That's literally verbalized text in their song. I will just say now, Blink-182 are better than 1975. No, they're not. They're absolutely not. Okay, of course they're not, Chris. 1975 have yet to have like their bad period. Blink-182 definitely had their bad.
See, I disagree. I don't think 1975 actually got out of their bad period. Have they made a good album? Have they made a good song that isn't whiny bullcrap about how hard it is to be entitled? No. Yes, we have. Have you ever listened to Sincerity? Even Garth likes a 1975 song. No, he doesn't. Garth doesn't like anything. Garth is an angry old man who sits on his porch in a rocking chair with a fucking shotgun telling people to get off his lawn. My generation will never own a lawn. Oh, fucking recession. No, that is literally the dynamic where he'll be like, get off my lawn. And I'm like, my generation will never own a lawn. In all seriousness, though, jumping back to Stardom, that match, just everything about the match was absolutely fucking outstanding. I loved it. Top 3 Stardom matches all year for me. I did shoot my load a little bit with it. I should say that with when I say top 3 Stardom matches all year, I'm someone who didn't like Shuri versus Utami, so I'm operating on like a different scale from other people. I gave it 4 3/4. I thought it was outstanding. I gave it 4.5. Yeah. You look at this card with the possible, well, no, not with the possible, with the exception of Mina versus Fuking and Death, and the first half of Natsupoi and Kaguma. up and down quality on this card is just outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every match hit in a different way. You've got wrestlers telling different stories. And you talked about last year, Chris, and I'm sure you won't mind me saying, you talked last year about how you weren't a massive fan of increasing the time limits. And
no, because in last year's 5-star it didn't work.
This year, has there been 2 matches that have gone above 18 minutes? I think there's only been 2. I think Julia and Mayu went over 18, and this one. There's only been, and
in terms of going over,
like they needed to as well.
In terms of going over the original time limit, only the main and semi-main of each night has. Everything else went under 15. So we haven't fucked with it that much. I don't mind, based on how the rest of Stardom's year goes, I'm not too mad if there's not a lot of draws. So,
no, I mean,
because I like that's one thing that set the 5-star apart was like the draws are more likely, but also draws happen so fucking often in Stardom now that if I see another draw, I might go away with John Travolta's fucking friend. So,
a Saturday Night Fever reference. I love it.
like you weren't just ranting about it at the start of this.
It's a weird film. It's not the film you expect. Fucking raping, Jesus.
There's a lot of films where like that's not what I expected it to be.
Pokemon the movie.
Oh fucking hell! Yeah, that wrecked me as a kid. Star Wars the Last Jedi, and people have been bitching about it for 5 years now.
That is true. That is true.
Those people are just bitches.
Overall, Chris, yeah, and you sent me a message after you'd finished watching this show, and you made a very bold statement. In my eyes, anyway. I'm sure you are still behind it, and to be honest, I'm sure there'll be people that agree with you. What was that statement?
Well, my statement was, in terms of pure match quality, it's the best show of the year. Now, that's not to say it's like purely the best show of the year. No. Because the best show of the year is like contextual. Like, for example, I'm massive into Ring of Honor. Best in the World sits above this. And then like the Hannah Matinee sits above it. But that's not for purely match quality reasons. That's for contextual reasons. But in terms of like pure match quality, it's better than Budokan because like the highs are slightly below it. The good stuff is about as good, but then we didn't have a pointless battle royal in the middle of it.
In terms of consistent in-ring quality, I can't disagree with you. I honestly can't. I think as an altogether package show, All-Star Budokan, All-Star Cinderella in Budokan, but in terms of an in-ring product, in terms of those matches, I think it flips it.
But that's the thing, because with a tournament show like this, your only goal is to go over there and have the matches be good. That's your one goal.
Yeah.
Your one goal is to like convince people to watch the rest of the tournament. Whereas,
absolutely.
Whereas with like Budokan, you've had to like start and resolve storylines. Whereas here, you're not really doing that. Like any storylines you're setting up are probably going to be stretched for tournament, and that's it. Maybe a bit beyond for a title program.
Yeah, and
by the way, Amani saying Night 2 might be number 2. I disagree. I don't think Night 2 is very good. I don't think it touches Night 1.
I think Night 2 is very, very good.
But not like in terms of Night 2, like I'm looking at it now, 2 matches, like most matches, but basically everything from Starlight Saki onwards got on my thread. None of it got into like the upper echelon where like at the end of the year I'm going to be considering it for a match of the year.
See, this clarifying statement I agree with. Night 2 didn't hit the highs of Night 1, but was probably more consistent. When you think about the fact that we're not bothered about Mina Fukigen, we're not bothered about Natsupoi Koguma, really.
Yeah, basically the only remotely down one is Unagi versus Izumi, which was still fine.
Exactly. So I actually do agree that consistency-wise, I think Night 2 was up there. However, from an in-ring standpoint, the highs of Night 1 just blow it away. And to be honest, I'd be really interested when it comes to the end-of-year Stardom Cast Awards. I'd be really, really interested to see where these 2 nights feature on a show of the year.
People don't tend to, when we think about best show of the year, when we get to the end of the year, we don't tend to think 5, like unless it's really good, like 5-star this time. But like the last time I can think of a tournament day that wasn't a finals where people consider it for match of the year was the first day of G1 in 2017 because it was all off the charts.
Yeah,
because when I think about like say the best New Japan show of last year, top to bottom, it was day 13, I believe, of the G1. The one with Shingo Okada, which was one of the worst lesser matches on that card, if we're being honest.
It was the one where Meltzer gave like 3 of the 5 matches 5 stars or something daft, or he gave 2 5 stars and then 2, 4, and 3/4. It was a really good night, right?
Yeah, it was the night where Ibushi versus Suzuki, which was probably my first best New Japan match of the year after it was Suzuki versus Nagata and Naito versus Okada. Those are the only matches above that one for me. So it was like that was probably New Japan's best show of the year, but it wasn't considered for show of the year at the end of the year.
No. I do think, especially with these being pay-per-views, I do think it'll be up there. I mean, I've just written the review for both of these nights for my Stardom book come the end of the year. And the more I look at the match quality, the more I look at the consistency, I do think it will get buried under like the likes of Tokyo Dream Cinderella because of, the main event and how good that main event was. You look at the rest of that card, you look at the undercard, there was I'd say there was 3 matches. You look at the main event, you look at the Cinderella tournament final, which I thought was very good between Saya and Micah. And then you've got the Stars No Ida time match, which was drama filled. But
that's what I'm saying about. It's a case of those matches contextually stand out more.
Yeah,
no, like at the end of the day, this is it's sort of like how Radiohead's best album is In Rainbows, but everyone talks about OK Computer.
OK Computer. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. Let's move on then, Chris, because we are nearly 2 hours into this stream and we've only done one night. So we probably should move on to night 2. Now, I did say to Chris, unfortunately, guys, my phone has decided to fuck me over and I've done my notes for all the matches. But unfortunately, I've only got the first 3 matches saved, so I will be going off memory. So if I get anything wrong, I apologize. Anyway, night 2, again from Yokohama Budokan, Sunday, August the 1st, in front of a slightly elevated crowd of 764 people. We opened with a dart match, but again, I haven't watched the dart match, so I'm not even going to bother talking about it. It wasn't on the pay-per-view stream. Our first 5-star block match was Blue Block, where Unagi Sayaka got to 4 points, defeating Azumi in her first tournament match with the Taiji Diata in 8 minutes and 21 seconds. I would argue, Chris, that this was actually more of a surprise than Unagi beating Tam.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Like, remember G1 29? Where Yano was just randomly winning.
Yano was winning the block until like halfway through the tournament, and everyone was like, I know we joked about imagine if Yano won the G1, but it's not actually going to fucking happen, is it?
At this point, I'd welcome it.
I mean, I do. Again, it was very similar to the Tam match in the fact that Azumi didn't take Unagi seriously at all. Don't forget that Unagi had Azumi, I think, in match 3, I believe, of her 7-match series, and Azumi it was basically Azumi toying with the food till she was ready to finish it. And you get the impression that Azumi simply thought that it was going to be another case of that with this match, but then Unagi just wouldn't stay down. And then you've got the really cool innovations that Unagi threw in. We've ragged on the woman relentlessly for her, just those 5 moves of beige, and that's it. But here she hit a code breaker off the top rope, off the second rope, I think, as Azumi was standing on the top rope. She hit a code breaker. She transitioned from the Defu and Katame into a sit-out facebuster, which was really cool. Because before, when she got people up in like the Gory Bomb, which she does call the Defu and Katame, she just sort of held them there, and they flipped out of it. And I think it shows really, really good growth that she's actually, right, well, I'm going to transition this into that facebuster. She's actually growing as a competitor. And I think that she is starting to land those moves. It wasn't even the big moves I had an issue with, because a finisher, like I said before earlier in the stream, I do actually really like the Taiji Yata. It's just that you mentioned it last time, Chris, about the simple stuff like the strikes weren't hitting properly and things like that. But here, I do think that they hit properly. And again, you've got, I mean, Armani Shoe Exchange just said the size advantage. It's not out of the realm of possibility that Unagi is going to beat Azumi. I just think...
You know, it's kind of like in that sense. It's like Dak Draper in Ring of Honor earlier in the year, where he's nowhere near as skilled as anyone in the pure division, but he just... Yeah. Because of his pure size and power, he could sort of brute force and dumb his way to it.
Yeah, and the way Unagi hits the finisher on Azumi, it was so much smoother than it was on Tam. And I understand completely what they were going for with Tam, and you know the innovation there, the fact that they were trying that really cool transition. I'm not going to rag on that. The fact that Azumi is obviously considerably smaller than Tam is probably making it a lot easier, but she's hitting it a lot better now. Did I think that we would be sitting here talking about Unagi being at the head of Blue Block after 2 matches? No, I didn't. I thought she'd be dead last. But the fact that you can tell the story of Azumi being complacent, about Azumi taking Unagi very lightly until it was too late to do anything about it, I think is a good story beat. So I don't necessarily hate it. And the improvement in Unagi it's certainly getting there. It does seem like most podcasts we are saying, well, that was Unagi's best singles match. Oh, yeah, we did it with Zaya, we did it with Micah, we've done it with Tam today. And this, though it wasn't of the level of Tam and the Tam on night one, because it lacked the emotion that night one had, I do think this was still a good match.
What I want to see is what happens when she goes up against someone who isn't above her station, or like way above her station.
So Blue Block, someone like a Ruwaka, you mean?
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, she's hitting with strikes and then landing in, and then she goes to Ruwaka, and then you know it's somewhat her trying to bring it against the big people and not full-on improvement.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what would happen in a match where she's the leader.
Because quite frankly, it's better. I think it's better to base someone on their, in terms of like what their overall quality is, on like their either average or bad performances than their good ones. Because everyone has really good, like most wrestlers at a high level have a really good match in them. Like even like people, like we look at people historically last, like Great Khali, he's had some really good matches. Like it kind of just happened. This kind of just comes to being pushed, right? But John Cena matches are actually quite like really good.
The Great Khali Stan Chris.
No,
I don't think it's really good, Chris. I think it's okay for the Great Khali. The man's immobile.
Well, Andre's immobile. He had some great matches.
Yeah, when he was more mobile in the 80s. I mean, it's sort of a hindrance if you can't fucking move or work in the context of the Great Khali.
My favorite wrestlers are ones that don't move and just punch hard.
I can see why you're a Great Khali fan then.
He doesn't punch hard.
What did you give this match, Chris?
3 and I think I gave it 3. 3.
I gave it 3.5. I do agree with you in regard to where we're going with Unagi and someone below her station or at her station. And it was something we talked about with Sairida, because Sairida had come off the back of 2 fantastic matches against Julia and Mayu. And it was a case of, right, well, let's see what she could do against someone like a Honori Hana, I think she had at one point, or a Unagi, who she had, I believe, at the anniversary show.
No, that's because with Sairida, she's not at the point where she can really work with someone below her station.
Yeah, and she pulled good matches out of Unagi and Honori Hana. I think we gave him 2 or 3 3 stars.
I don't think you need to pull as much out of Honori Hana though.
No, agreed. She's still below Sayurita Station, just not as much.
Maybe a bit. From what I understand from talking to Val and Conrad, she's come on leaps and bounds in Seedlink.
Good. Well, that's good to know. I'd like to see her in again because it was decent. We move on then to the second match, which was a red block match with Starlight Kid getting her first win of the tournament, defeating Saki Kashima with the Black Tiger Pile Driver. Now, this is another match in 8 minutes and 40 seconds. This is another move that I've seen called about 3 different things. I've seen it called the Black Tiger Pile Driver. I've seen it called the Black Tiger Punishment. I've seen it called the Black Tiger Bomb. I've seen it called a lot of things. The official Stardom website is calling it the Black Tiger Pile Driver. I mean, obviously, it's a nod to Black Tiger, which is great. I love that. You know, the whole Sky Tiger and things like that. But
my favorite Black Tiger fact is the fact that there's more Black Tigers than there is Tiger Masks.
Yeah, I was looking at the weird lineage of them.
You know who Black Tiger wants? Tomohiro Ishii.
Was he really?
Yeah,
was he Tiger of the Dark?
No, Tiger of the Dark. I think that was.
That was ACH.
Yeah, no, but like my thing is with Black Tiger, it's because like Tiger Mask, you become like this big legendary figure.
Yeah,
kind of like you're taking on this big responsibility. Black Tiger, you become Black Tiger, and then you have to job to Tiger Mask for the rest of your life.
Pretty much. The fact that it was Eddie Guerrero at one point was like,
yeah, Rocky Romero was a Black Tiger as well.
Yeah, he was.
What I like about
Silver King.
Was Silver King a Black Tiger?
Silver King, I believe, was Black Tiger 3, I believe.
See, that's the thing, because Tiger Mask is weird, because with the 4 Tiger Masks, you have 1 and 4 who are like completely known as Tiger Mask, like Satoshi Sayama and whoever the fuck Tiger Mask is now. They're completely known for their they're known for their time as Tiger Mask. No one knows them as anything really but Tiger Mask, apart from like a few UWF fans.
I was just going to say, yeah.
But then the middle 2 are Koji Kanemoto and Masawa. So
I still find it baffling. Anyway, we've got completely sidetracked here. Basically, the finisher that Starlight Kid pulled out was fucking great, and we're going to talk about it in a minute. Having been burned, Chris, many times by Inter Bullet Club affairs in New Japan's G1, I approached this match with a little bit of apprehension.
The best Inter Bullet Club thing was Jay White and Yujiro from last year.
That was fantastic. That was great. That was brilliant. Comes down in his trackies and like just take the pin, and then Yujiro's like, "No, I'm not going to."
And he kept teasing like he would. It's like, no, I'll take it this time.
Do you know what? Genuinely, that was one of my favorite matches of the G1 last year.
Oh yeah, it was great.
But I did enjoy, despite the fact that I was like, oh, we're just going to get loads of bollocks in this match. We didn't. We got the initial handshake where they both went like that, both pulled their hands away, started laughing. And then it was a high-speed match.
A really good
sort of split into 2 matches.
Yeah.
We had the high-speed bit at the end, which I really liked.
And then we had the head drop.
Yeah, we had the head. We will get to that fucking head drop, Jesus Christ. But I did like the fact that initially Saki was mocking Starlight. You know, just that gentle reminder that, you know, yes,
you're below me.
You're below me. Exactly. Yes, the focus has been on you, but you are below me. And ultimately, Saki started to out-heel Starlight, you know, raking the eyes, pulling the hair, slamming the back. I thought that was great. I really enjoyed that. And then, we escalated into a high-speed match, and we forget sometimes just how good in ring Saki is.
Yeah, no, I've been saying since we started this podcast that Saki should be in high speed.
Yeah, you have. And it's hard to disagree.
Yeah, because she's fucking. That's how she. Because her main finish is a quick roll up. Like I know she has the Unprettier, but like
my emblem,
the Pulp Friction.
The Pulp Friction, yes.
But
Kill Switch.
Do we have anything else? Do you have any other fucking names you want to throw?
I don't think so. I think that's it. I think that's all of
them. Put in the chat if you please don't actually. Yeah, but the bits ran its course. But like, her main finish is a but like the people, she tends to finish people with the quick roll up.
Yeah.
So I like how every time I say it, just like no, it's this.
Yeah, just fucking use the name, Chris.
Do you really want? Like, I'll end up sneezing or something. Like, so she's just tailor made for the high speed division, and she kind of proved it here because she kept up with one of its most prolific. And interesting to see what happens when she goes up against Azumi at whatever point. They're not in the same block. No, but yes, we are.
Yes, they are both red.
So I'm interested to see what happens there. Because
then, like, we get another rematch between Starlight and Azumi, which I'm very fucking excited for as well.
Yeah, that should be fun, especially given their different roles now.
Yeah, exactly.
In the case of this, yeah, it's just really good. It's one of the better It's one of the better Erueditai interfactions.
Oh yeah, Azumi is in blue. What the fuck are we talking about?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Azumi's just. We've literally just spoken about Azumi. My God.
No. But what's funny is like, oh no, is it like she's not? I mean, you were like, oh no, yes she is. I mean, you fucking gaslit me there, Goodwin.
I didn't. It was all you. You put me off.
I've read about this on the internet. You're cyberbullying me.
Now we are live streaming. Yeah, I am effectively cyberbullying you. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, this is just really good, really fun. It holds up next to most of the high-speed title matches from this year.
I think the only one that beats it is probably Natsupoi's Starlight Kid. I think that's probably the only one that beats it.
This is about on the same level as Poi Izumi for me.
Yeah, Poi Izumi, I agree. From Budokan.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. It's definitely better than Natsupoi's match. Not Natsupoi's match. Oh, yeah. Who else Natsupoi defended against?
Izumi defended against Death. Oh, no, Natsupoi defended against...
it's better than that. It was better than the Izumi Death match.
I think Natsupoi defended against Death, no. Like, just Death.
I think... Has Poi defended against Death? Maybe. It doesn't. It's irrelevant anyway. Yes, it was a very good match. I don't think it was quite as good as the Starlight defense, but it's certainly better than the vast majority. Agreed.
Mm-hmm. Well, not better. It's like opposed to the standard because you forget Azumi was amazing as high speed champion.
She was. She had some very good matches.
There was Meihel Shizuki and Starlight before.
But they were 2020. Both of them were 2020.
But like, I mean, in this current era, basically.
Basically
everything post Riho.
Yeah, post Riho. The dark ages of the high speed title.
It's super weird because like the high speed, like in modern Stardom, the last few years, it basically goes Hazuki, Dark Ages, Hazuki.
And then just nothing happened. And then look, Azumi. One thing that has come out of this, Starlight Kid, I know that to be fair, she's the underling of Oedatai. I do see her as a leader of Oedatai. I know she's technically not, but I see her as more of a leader of Oedatai, definitely going forward until Tora comes back.
I see her as the biggest star, not the leader. Because
do you still see Saki as the leader or Konami?
I think it's a case of double-headed monster with Saki and Konami.
See, I do think they're going to elevate Starlight Kid because as Armani just said, she feels like the leader.
Yeah, well, she feels like she's definitely especially in new fans, she's everyone's favorite, and obviously because she's one of the better wrestlers of Stardom this year. And I get that, but like, I don't know. I think if you want to elevate her to that, she needs more time than a couple months it's been. I get Tora's injury, and you might want to fast track it, whatever. I see no point in doing that. I think she serves as much as the person proving herself and like having that slow going to the top of the faction than just immediately going, oh no, like have her become the leader just as Tora comes back and create a power dynamic or something.
Okay, so all right. Okay, let's move on from that because I think we're going to get more of a character arc with Starlight Kid as this progresses. So I think we can talk a little bit more about this the further we get into the tournament. What I will say is, and this is something that we've both said, for Starlight Kid to reach that next level, and it's the same thing we've said about Azumi, she needs that impact finishing move. It can, we talk about Azumi's finishing move is effectively a roll up in the Azumi Sushi. She has used the cross arm breaker and things like that in the past. But, she finished someone off the other a couple of weeks ago with a double diving foot stop. stomp. Well, that can't be your finisher against someone like a Shiori or someone like a Starlight Kid.
So Starlight now has that impact finisher.
Exactly. Starlight has that impact finisher, which now not only does it look fucking great, it fits her character, and just with the venom with which she hit Saki with it, and Jesus Christ, I did fear for Saki at points, but I just love this heel Starlight Kid. I really do. She's grown into this so much.
Hey Rob, what's Starlight Kid's favorite David Bowie album?
Oh God,
Black Star. Hey Rob, what kind of?
I hate you so much.
What kind of guitar amplifier does Starlight Kid use?
Go on.
Black Star.
Anything else?
What's Starlight Kid's favorite No Gallagher's High Flying Bird song? Black Star Dancing.
God, I hate you. Like, I hate you so much.
You know, my favorite part is that now you can see how like legitimately happy those jokes make me.
What did you give it, Chris?
A Black Star out of 5.
Black Star out of 5. Fair enough. I've given it 3.5.
Oh, I gave it 3 3/4.
Oh, did it make you thread?
Yeah, I mean my thread. Yeah, everything. Spoilers. Everything from this onwards makes me thread.
Fair enough. I'm not going to bemoan you that. I think it was a very good match. Really enjoyed it. Like this match, red start block action. Natsupoi getting her first 2 points, defeating Momo Watanabe with the Fairy Blink. Apparently, this roll up is called in 9 minutes and 44 seconds.
My favorite thing was so Natsupoi, you know how she does like the inverted like splash, where it's like she ends in the same position as Moonsault, but she goes from the front.
Yeah.
I call it the sparkle splash, and it annoys people.
Yeah, absolute Momo buried. This match was honestly, when the blocks first got announced, this was a match it wasn't a match that instantly jumped out as like but it was one I was really looking forward to.
This match that jumped out of me of, oh, this will be good. But it didn't jump out of me as interesting. You know, like it didn't jump out of me as something I'd be able to sink my teeth into, and it kind of lived up to that. I have nothing really to sink my teeth into other than it was a really good match with really cool moves. Yeah,
I get that.
Sometimes that's all you need, though. That's literally sometimes all you need. But in terms of everyone else, I don't know what else you could do this match other than have it to be just a cool match with cool moves. I'm trying to see what I said about, and I've lost my notes, so I'm trying to find it again. Here we go. Oh yeah, the thing I have is just Momo continues to have real "I'm going to win this tournament, fuck you" energy. You know, she lost the point, but you know the energy's there.
It's that whole no bullshit.
Yeah,
which that has to be what Momo is. She has to be that no bullshit thing. I loved when Natsupoi started this match and attempted to make it a high speed match, like straight away at the gates. Hits her with the drop kick, tries to roll her up off the ropes. Momo had none of this and just booted her in the chest.
Yeah.
And then just continued to boot her in the chest. And it was great. And then you've got Natsupoi realizing, right, I actually have to up my game here because just doing the high flying stuff is not going to get me the win here.
So can I quickly say in the chat, Stretch going the top of Queen's Quest, losing the bottom of DDM. That's just a round robin. That's just how that works. You look at any round robin, those power dynamics just stop. Like you look at any other point in the year. Like I could use a million different round robins. I'm going to use New Japan because it's what most people know. It's the only time Ishii could ever pin a Jay White.
The amount of times that Ishii pins the champion is unreal.
Yeah, like that's just how round robins go. It's the place where big opportunities win, and it's not like It's not like he's saying the bottom of DDM. It's not like Natsupoi's been positioned as a loser.
Well,
she's a champion.
Her opening start of 2021 wasn't great, but since she's been champion, obviously her winning percentage has improved massively. And you look at the vast majority of the field. I mean, if you look at Red Block, for example, you have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the field are 1-1.
And it's a case of
all of the others have only had one match, and Himeka hasn't had any.
And also, when you think about it, with it makes sense for this champion to pin Momo, because you don't want Momo having a claim to the high speed. You don't want to sort of muddy that scene in that way, because that's not where Momo's meant to be.
I don't think that would have been the case, but even so, yeah, you're right. It makes sense for Natsupoi to win here. It doesn't do any damage to either. And exactly, it wasn't like, Natsupoi defeated her decisively with, the Ferial Dream.
It was coded as a fluke.
Yeah, exactly. She, it wasn't like she beat her with the Fairy Train. She beat her with effectively a flash pin, a very cool and very innovative flash pin, but a flash pin nonetheless. Momo spent the vast majority of this match on top. What I do want to talk about is how Natsupoi adapted her offense when she realized that going high speed, terrible decision. So what she did was she just tried to fuck up Momo's back, because obviously Momo's at the moment quite heavily strapped on her back. So just decided that she was going to kick the shit out of Momo's back. And that variation of the camel clutch that she locked Momo in.
Yeah, what the fuck even was
great. That looked great. That looked like it really, really hurt.
Shout out to our boy Mohammed Hassan.
Friend of the show, Mohammed Hassan.
My friend texted me the other night going, I just got a pizza delivery and the guy looked like Mohammed Hassan. I'm like, did you ask him how Devour he's doing?
Yeah, this was great. I love this match. I think it ended in the right way. You aren't burying Momo. Momo came out looking extremely strong against Mayu, really definitive win against Mayu, and effectively a fluke loss against Natsupoi. I don't think this does anything for her, anything bad for Momo whatsoever. Natsupoi has had two very different matches and looked good in both. Momo has had two very different matches and has looked very, very good in both. So, in fact, in terms of Momo, I think there's only really one person, no, maybe two people who've had better matches consistently over the weekend, and that's Utami and Suri.
Micah.
Oh, Micah has had two very, very, very good matches.
Yeah, because you say Shuri and Utami.
And they've both had Micah. So yeah, that's the thing, though. I've said that. It's the quality again. The quality of the matches has been unreal. Anyway, Chris, what did you give this?
I gave it 3 3/4. It was very good. Nothing. It's noteworthy, not mind blowing.
What did you give it? Sorry, I was reading the comments.
3 3/4.
I gave it 4. So again, we're roughly on kilter.
I feel like we're disagreeing on this next match, because you said you had a rant lined up for this one.
No, I didn't. No. Armani Shioji makes all the rest. The flash pins early in the tournament is great. Makes all the near falls throughout the rest of the tournament more suspenseful.
And I'm going to give some, because in this 5-star, a lot of people seem to be agreed it's Julia. I'm one of the people who don't think it is. I don't. It's another thing me and Velcro were talking about. I don't think she needs for 5-star, because the 5-star isn't for G1. It's not to get you get a title shot, but it's not like that's not the reason you want to win the 5-star. You want to win the 5-star because it's an honor to win the 5-star. It's not the Royal Rumble. So Julie would be just as good having a good tournament and then challenging whoever was champion after that.
She doesn't need it. I do think it is.
It could be something, but I don't think it's as certain a thing as some people have been putting out there.
No, I mean, obviously with how much press Stardom got with the Tokyo Dream Cinderella show, it wouldn't surprise me if Shuri won it, and that was the way they rerun Shuri versus Utami.
Maybe. I think it's. But again, I think there's richer story there if they go to a draw and it keeps them both out the tournament final.
Oh, that would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and when it comes to the tournament final, it gets decided on the same day. So you don't need to have it be a big match that will draw. In fact, you don't want it to be a big match that will draw, because you'll be wasting that match.
Yeah, agreed.
I think of last year, it was Utami versus Himeka, and it was abjectly fine.
Yeah.
So, I think it's better served elevating someone as opposed to doing Julia, who it wouldn't elevate. It would just be a reason to give her a title shot, which you could give her at any time because it's Julia.
Yeah. And she hasn't challenged for the red belt yet either at any point. No. So it's not like it's it's an ill-deserved, she's got the highest winning percentage in Stardom as well.
Yeah, she can just basically, if Stardom had rankings, she'd be fighting at the next big show.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
It's a completely white. Going back to what my original point was going to be, there's in terms of people who can conceivably win this tournament or go to the finals of this tournament. I'm seeing Utami, Micah, Shuri, Takumi in blue, and then in red, Julia, Momo, Mayu, and maybe Starlight.
I think Mayu and Starlight will cancel each other out on the final night.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All these small wins that in a bubble, purely in a bubble, they seem weird. They might seem weird. Going through the tournament, they're going to become more, because that's just how Rod and Robins work. We're going to be looking at Poi versus. We might be looking at Poi versus Momo later in the tournament, going, "Oh no, this is going to fuck up Momo."
Quite possibly. That's a good point. Let's move on then. So, Blue Stars next, Blue Block, with Tam Nakano getting the first 2 points of the tournament by defeating Konami in 10 minutes and 45 seconds with Twilight Dream.
I managed to go. I managed to go the weekend. The only two things I had spoiled all weekend was Risotto Momo versus Mei, which I saw coming anyway. And then this. And the reason I know this is because I forgot the 5 stars 2 days in a row, because normally there's a couple of days between five stars. So it completely just left my mind, because it was just as I woke up, went on Twitter, and just Val being really sad that Konami lost again.
Yeah, that was in-ring quality. Hadn't got an issue with it. Konami getting after the arm, really, really good. Using the chair early on to go. I think the most face thing Konami's done all year is attack Tam Nakano early, so we don't have to hear the rest of her fucking dreadful entrance theme. So I was instantly behind Konami after that. Oh, it's the worst. It's easily the worst Stardom theme, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
It's just
Has
the worst.
Auto-Tune ever been used well in a wrestling theme? Oh, Yuma Aoyagi's theme. There we go. Never mind.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, fair enough. You can't start your own plots at them.
Like a rock star.
But yeah, that Tam Nakano's theme is dreadful. So Konami finishing that was great early.
And then what we'll see here, this is because clearly if you want Tam to be like an ace, ace light figure,
the underdog, not necessarily the underdog, but the person who could take a lot of punishment but still come out as a win.
The John Cena, for the lack of better terms, where she's going to be beat up all match and then get her big win.
Basically, how Mayu's red belt reign went.
Yeah, because I recently watched because for my next video I'm redoing my 2020 video because I fucking hate it. So I'm a crazy person. So I've went through my whole over the last few weeks. I've just been going through my whole 2020 shortlist, and by shortlist it's 50 matches. So I rewatched Mayu versus Shuri, and you know what? It's much better than I initially thought it was, because it starts out Mayu trying to play Shuri's game. And then she's like, "Oh no, this isn't going to work," and she just starts throwing herself at her like it's Darby Allin.
Yeah,
and then that gets cut off because she eats shit on a moonsault, and Shuri starts attacking her again. And it's basically like Homer Simpson when he's a boxer, where Shuri just tires out and eventually just gets hit with a fucking suplex.
Yeah, agreed.
Here. Tam came from behind, was attacked before she was ready to start, got completely decimated with weapons. Konami was a dick, and then Tam was able to make a comeback. It was a short, contained, fun ace figure kind of story, perfect for Tam's first. I'm gonna say real match, because I don't think an Unagi match should count as your first match. It's the first time where, despite the fact she won and then lost the night before, it's the first time where you went in believing Tam could lose this. Because tournament Konami's like tournament Ishii, she's suddenly better than everyone, and she might actually win something.
Yeah. Do you think the right person won?
honestly, I don't think anyone gets anything bad out. If they're not gonna, because here's the thing: Konami's at the level where she beat Tam, she'd have to fight for the white belt later. So if we don't want her to fight for the white belt later, you don't give her the win here. It's as simple as that. And they clearly don't want Konami fighting for the white belt, so they're not going to have her pin Tam. It's as simple as that. I think for people who, I think, would I have liked Konami to have win? Yeah, because she doesn't win singles matches over time, so it'd be a nice change. I don't like the way the result of this match has been in a lot of discourse is this wasn't a be all end all win for Konami. It's not like she got to the end of a big road and then lost to Tam. She had a tournament match with a champion and lost. So in terms of the white person won, if they don't Konami challenging for the white belt, then yeah, the right person won.
It just with her getting, and I know we shouldn't get too hung up on draws in Stardom or hung up at all on draws in Stardom.
I know, but she gets a lot. She's drawn with both Tam and Utami. But here's the thing:
going to be my next thing. Do you think she'll beat Utami then?
Can I be honest with you? In terms of because all the singles champions are in fucking blue block apart from Natsupoi.
Yeah, they are.
And Mina. So in terms of the singles champions, the one she has story with is Shuri. I think she should beat Shuri. Like, I understand the SWA because okay, a few points of business. The SWA belt means nowhere near as much as the white belt or the red belt. Obviously,
agreed.
Like the only reason people care about the SWA belt is because Shuri's in it, has it, which creates a problem because Shuri's not going to hold it very long because they very clearly because there's a decent chance they're going to make this Utami rivalry into something bigger.
Yeah,
as opposed to like as it is now, where it's like they had one really good match, and a few matches, but like. You know what I mean? But with Konami, we talked about this at the Budokan show. There's stuff to build on there. So how do you get people to care about the SWA belt? You build a hot feud around the SWA belt. Now, again, this feud, the SWA belt's superfluous, but it's what the belt is. What was filled out of the Budokan. In terms of a more complete story, if she's going to pin any champion, she should pin
Shuri.
Yeah, and then like at that point, if Utami and Tam get the win back, so fucking what? Konami has a hot feud coming out of it. One of the biggest stars of the company. When theory, she'll probably overcome it because she's in my head, she's the most natural next SWA champion. But also, but also they're probably gonna draw that out a bit because we need to wait for foreigners to be like that before we can do anything with the fucking belt.
True.
Yeah, like the only reason it's still on Shuri is because she's like, "Hey, I'm part from another country."
The only reason that I thought I don't think the right person won here is because Konami fits the white belt picture, which she does. But also not just that. I think
Konami's one of those people that we can slot up anywhere.
But have you had her draw with Utami and Tam in very, very quick succession?
Are you asking me if Stardom did draws for no reason? Yes.
What I'm asking you, you would argue if they were two draws against the likes of, I don't know, Himika and Saya Kamatani, you would argue that they were done for draws' sakes. To have her draw with the two the two highest champions in Stardom, in basically what were consecutive shows, basically, I know they weren't, but basically consecutive
shows.
Yeah, exactly. Would you then say that they have had her draw with both Utami and Tam, so that when Utami or Tam beat her in the tournament, it makes them look stronger? Or do you think there is a championship picture for Konami because she's drawn with the champions and then beaten them in the block?
I think there's a chance you might be overcomplicating it. I think they drew because they were both feuding with Oedatai wrestlers at the time, and then so they had them face Oedatai's seconding, basically Oedatai's paid merc in Konami, whose object going into the matches wasn't to win, but to do as much damage as possible, and you can do more damage in a draw than you can from a quick win.
Fair enough.
So, like, I think saying, "Oh, will this lead to a future Konami tie shot?" Probably not, and in all likelihood, they'll either avenge the wins or Konami might get a quick win. But like, it honestly, I think if you think about it for like a second, you realize if there's any story in the title picture here, the stories of Shuri.
Yeah, I agree. Shuri would be the better route, definitely. I think you think about who is left to challenge Utami for the red belt.
We're almost at the point where Maya was at, where she is like, right, who else is there? And and like Shuri might be given the arc to where she can eventually beat Utami, and it will be a big cathartic thing. So maybe a Shuri rematch, especially because like it's happened before where a draw, like I mentioned before, has led to what my ideal would be like no, that's it. Konami's future is in the tag division because she doesn't fit Stardom's main. Like or not, Stardom has a main event mold. They either have like final bosses or Mayu. That's basically their main event mold.
Yeah.
So Konami's not really a final boss; she's an underboss.
It's hard to disagree with that. It's a shame because she's capable of putting on very good matches, but ultimately she's never going to be the top person in the company.
Yeah, that's fine. You even want because she isn't quite final boss.
No,
like she's not quite that, and that's partly down to how they've booked her. But it would take, what I mean. And then like she's not a Tama or Mayu where she can convincingly always be behind.
No, and if you look at the structure of Oedo Tai, with Natsukatora in charge, you've got Natsukatora, then Saki, then Konami, arguably.
Like at best, you can say Saki's on equal pegging with Konami, but no.
Exactly. And then if you are of the impression that Starlight is, the leader without people realizing she's the leader, or even without Oedo Tai knowing that she's the leader, that means that she's even further down the totem pole.
But with the man who was saying in the chat, they're saying she has fun mid-card bangers, but doesn't really pull high-level bangers.
That's what I said on the last episode of the podcast.
I think it's not just that, though. I think it's that Stardom's main event style doesn't suit her needs because for the ideal Konami banger, it would be sort of a longer version of what we got against Shuri at the Budokan.
Yeah,
which isn't what Stardom likes in its main events.
No,
like I'm not saying that it's not a valid main event style because I adore that match. I would adore if that was a main event style that Stardom adore. It's like Zack Sabre Jr. in New Japan. The way he wrestles isn't conducive to what they want in their main events.
No, it wouldn't surprise me if she gets a white belt or a red belt challenge, but in my opinion, I'd love her to hold, especially the white belt. But
I think like for short-term SWA is where her story is.
Yeah,
like in future, white belt, red belt, definitely. She's definitely she's a great for Stardom's purposes and what they want in a main eventer. She's a great opponent.
Yeah, definitely. It's like when you look at the Sakura Genesis show when Okada took on Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, he's a great opponent.
Exactly, he's a great opponent.
Yeah.
No one in the world thought ZSJ was winning that.
Yeah. If Konami wants main event success, she should go to GLEAT.
GLEAT. What did you give it, Chris?
I gave it 4.
Gave it 4. I gave it 4 also. Let's move on then. We are into the last 3 matches of night 2. We have got blue block action with Utami defeating Saya in 14 minutes and 19 seconds with the BT bomb. This was another match I really enjoyed, Chris.
I like this. I didn't like it as much as the one. Well, I didn't like it anywhere near as much, in fact, as the one at the Budokan. But also, A, you have the contextual factors there.
Yeah.
B, you had the surprise of, oh my god, so I can actually put on like a really, really good match.
Yeah, true.
And D, there was no Canadian Destroyer. Fuck this match.
There was no Canadian Destroyer. There was a fucking Spanish Fly, though.
Yeah.
Which, admittedly, not quite as impressive as a Canadian Destroyer out of nowhere. It's still very innovative.
Yeah, well, for Stardom, it's innovative. For wider wrestling, so you can do a Spanish Fly. Boo fucking who?
Who can't?
Like, big whoop.
Me.
I could probably do one on a trampoline.
No, you couldn't.
I could do
yeah, maybe.
I could take a Spanish Fly.
I could take a Spanish Fly. No, I love this match.
I'd be a bruiser.
Do you reckon? Do you reckon be an Ishii? If you got slapped on the chest, you'd cry.
No, but because if you have long hair and a beard, you have no idea how many wrestlers have been compared to just for having long hair and a beard.
Big Damo.
That one hurt, to be honest. No, because it was in fucking. I went to a WWE house show in Glasgow, and someone just shouted it from across a fucking hydro. It's like, "Oh, you look like Killian Dane." I'm like, "Cheers, pal." And then Killian Dane was like the surprise at ICW that night. Like he made it because he was in town anyway. He made a surprise appearance, and on my way out, everyone was drunk, going, "Oh look!" pointing at me. It's Killian Dane. I'm like, that really hurts. I'm not that big.
Do you know what makes me laugh at that story?
What?
Your impression of a Scottish accent is fucking shit. That is what makes me laugh. You are Scottish, and your impression of a Scottish accent is dire. You've let your brethren down.
I mean, like, I fully admit that I can't do accents.
We shouldn't have to do an accent. It's your accent.
No, my accent is this, and I get a in my first meeting at work, someone thought I was Welsh.
Welsh?
Welsh. They thought I was Welsh.
Right, you don't sound Welsh, mate, if that's any
No, I don't. No,
you sound English.
When I first meet, no one can pinpoint where in England, though.
Bolton.
You're just saying that because you know my...
No, that's where your nan's from, so...
Yeah, that's where my nan's from, but my dad's from Birmingham.
Heads up, Nana O'Brien. Big Stardom Cast listener is Nana O'Brien. Anyway,
I am your pupil.
What is happening?
My nana would be so disapproving of everything about this.
I loved. You're right. It's not as good as their Budokan match. I do agree with that. Obviously, red belt match, huge stage. It's not going to be.
Well, we'll say the appeal of this is also very surface level. Like basically, they're tag partners, so we don't see them face too often. Saya is willing to take nutty bumps, and Utami enjoys throwing people around. The appeal here is very surface level. You see stuff you don't see pulled out Stardom, like the Spanish Fly, like the springboards to the outside. And then beyond that, it's kind of just a diet Budokan match for me. Like it's the touring version of their Budokan match, which I'm completely fine with it being, because it's a tournament. I'm not expecting mind-blowing I'm not expecting night one every night, basically. So for a tournament match, I'm completely 100% happy with this.
Yeah, it was a good match. There was callbacks to their Budokan match, which I enjoyed. I really enjoyed the fact that, again, Saya wasn't able to get the Phoenix Splash out. Again, Stardom Crusher was kicked out of, which, of course, Utami did at Budokan. They played on the fact that they are tag partners and, of course, know each other's offense very, very well. I was a big fan of when Utami catches Saya's backflip drop kick. She caught it in a sidewalk slam. I thought that was great. That was really, really cool. And they had little touches of that. You know, neither of them were able to get that much distance because obviously they're very familiar with each other. They were able to get on top of one another very well. But again, ultimately, in the same way she did a Budokan, Saya couldn't get the job done, and Utami beats her. It was a solid match, really good match. Again, their Budokan match, because it was such a surprise as to how good it was in that situation. Obviously, that has the upper hand.
It went much longer, so we had a lot more in there.
Exactly. This went, 14 minutes? I think for a 14-minute match, it was fantastic. I think I gave it 4 1/4, Chris.
I gave it 3 3/4.
Oh, there you go. I liked it a little bit more than you. Let's move on then. Semi-main. Another match I loved. Blue block with Syuri.
You can stop saying that you love them. We already know that you love other match. You don't need to say that when you go with another match you love. You love all of them. We know this.
Okay. So the match that I loved, Syuri becoming the second wrestler to get to 4 points, defeating Micah, who's on 2 points in 60 minutes and 38 seconds with the Emerald Flosion.
You said that with such malice in your voice. It's like,
Emerald Flosion.
All right, Vince.
Chris.
Emerald Flosion. Yeah, it was really good. Okay, so the grappling's really good, obviously.
Agreed.
A lot of the bombs in the back half were really good. This is probably the best inter DDM dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I mean, the bits that I enjoyed of the tag match at Yokohama, actually,
The small bits, very small pockets in that fucking awful match,
where ALK took the belts off Himeka and Micah, were the exchanges between Shuri and Micah.
It's basically the Shuri and Micah stuff, and then the Northern Lights one. That was it.
yeah, pretty much. The tower German suplex spot off the top rope was quite cool. But anyway, this match,
spot monkeys. Yeah, there's one thing I don't like though, and that's the headbutts, because they were fucking comical. I'm sorry, they were like, they actively took me. Like, this isn't normally a problem with these two. Even like, I'm not as massive on Micah versus Utami. I can admit that the strikes were good. Here, those fucking if you're not going to commit to a headbutt spot, as gross as VR, don't do it. Like, just going, like, fucking hell.
I'll be honest, Armani, I thought they were shoulder blocks as well.
Hey, look, but like, I'm not going to lie to you.
I didn't want to say anything, but that was what I thought. I thought they were just shoulder blocks. I was like, what fucking headbutts he on about?
They were like frailing their heads.
Right, for a start, looks like you're moshing. Stop it. I don't know what this was that you were doing. But no, I read them as shoulder blocks, so it didn't bother me in the slightest.
Oh, I've still even a shoulder blocks. I find them like comical because they look like shit.
Okay, well,
whatever they were, they look like shit. But aside from that, like 1 minute stretch where they're just doing stupid shit, it was a very good match. I really enjoyed it. I'm not sure how I feel about the Emerald Flosion being like a set in stone finisher as opposed to like a kill move. I kind of wish if she was going to pull out something like that, it wouldn't be a overtime finisher. It would be I've done everything I need, something to put them away. Basically, I miss the days where Shuri didn't have a set in stone finisher.
I don't think this is a set in stone finisher.
Well, she's done it 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, that's not set in stone. She's she's the one that has finished off more people with different finishes than anyone else on the fucking roster.
Yeah.
I mean, she went through a phase of having 4 different submission moves.
She's the Jonathan Gresham of Stardom.
Exactly. She finished well. She set up Julia's Northern Lights with the buzzsaw kick. So
I guess it's a bit early to call that. I just hope it doesn't become a set in stone finisher.
No, I get what you mean. I do like the fact that with Shuri, she's a very unique wrestler in the fact that you don't know what she's going to finish a match with.
Because that's one of the things I liked about Utami versus Shuri. Everything became a conceivable match ender.
Yeah, because she has finished matches with everything from the Scorpion Deathlock to the Vermilion Bird.
That match could have ended at any point, and I probably would have complained about it less. And it would have been satisfying.
Yeah. I do agree with what you said. I think these two have got fantastic chemistry as far as DDM people go. I do think it is the best out of the 5.
And they both have decent grappling prowess, so we can just fill the first 5 minutes of their match with random grappling and no one cares.
Oh, the punk kick. I forgot about that.
Oh, the punk kick was great.
But yeah, I don't particularly mind the Emerald Flosion as a set in stone finisher if it becomes a set in stone finisher.
Like, it's a good. No, I'm saying it's a good. I'm not saying it's a bad finisher. I'm saying I don't want Shuri to have a set in stone finisher.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I did like the fact that basically every single move that Shuri had could have been a discernible finisher. Mm-hmm. Because, like I said, if you total up the moves that she's actually finished matches with this year, I reckon it must be close to 10.
Yeah, no, I think the only person really beating her right now in that regard is Jonathan Gresham.
Are you just trying to get Jonathan Gresham on this podcast as many times as you can?
I don't need to try.
Get it. You like Gresham. For fuck's sake, take his cock out of your mouth. Jesus.
I wish his cock was in my mouth.
All right. No. Didn't need that, did we? Didn't need that, Chris.
Don't say things if you don't want me to take them to a logical extreme. You know this about me.
Yeah, the punk kick was savage. The punk kick was fucking horrible. But yes, overall, I do think that these two...
I can say in Velka's in the chat, I can back up it. It was like, I want her to punk kick her.
I want just punk kick her. I gave it 4, Chris.
No, seriously, Velkage is fucking disgusting. He's like, yes, drop her in her head. I give it 4. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. And finally, then we move to our main event of night 2, which was Mayu Utani in Red Stars beating Julia in 18 minutes and 30 with the Dragon Suplex.
I think this is another match of 2 halves.
Yeah. No, I know where you're going with this.
Because they started off with some mat work, which
they did.
neither woman can do.
They're not. I think that's unfair. I think that's unfair.
Okay, here's the thing. Julia's good at locking in finishes from out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. She's not a chain wrestler.
Right.
Like, well, here's the thing. From my understand, she has a previous with Hideki Suzuki. You wouldn't be able to tell it from this opening exchange. Because both of these women have sort of the Okada Ibushi thing where they reach for the nearest limb. That's just what we do. I never sense any rhyme or reason why we're doing a thing unless we're against someone like a Shiri or a Utami who can actually grapple. But like these two, they don't feel like
natural grapplers.
They don't feel like they're doing it to like feel each other out or get damage in early. They're just doing like grapple moves that might look cool until they get to the. She has MMA training. Yeah, we talked about this because didn't you say like in MMA she just straight up sucked?
Is this Julia?
Yeah, she has.
Yeah, and also MMA training was bad, but
yeah, but I mean, she's not. I'm not saying she's not a grappler to be mean. It's just not in her skill set. It's not how she wrestles. Okay, but we're not saying she competed in MMA. I was half remembering that MMA training is obviously different from being like CM Punk had MMA training and then look where that got him. So
she's got a face that's going around at the moment where it's the Simpsons and they say whoever has done whatever can go early, and it's a picture of him, Bobby Lashley, Batista, Jack Swagger, and Brock Lesnar.
It's people who've won an MMA fight.
People who've run an MMA match can go home, and everyone goes yay, and then the CM Punk left on his own.
Have you ever seen Batista's MMA fight?
No,
he was
never.
Up against a fucking Parker.
Oh, Audrey.
Yeah. It was like Bouncer versus it was Bouncer at like an actual nightclub versus Bouncer in a nightclub in Cardiff kind of thing.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah, and the guy looked like he'd turn up to the weigh-in with a fucking autograph book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
So yeah, but then once they got out of that and we started like throwing nutty bombs and taking nutty bumps. That's when it got really good. They basically had to get to, because how long did this match go? It went 18 minutes. They needed to get through those first 5 to 10 minutes because they don't have enough bumps on their bump card to just bump for 20 minutes.
I think of the 2 main events that we had over night 1 and night 2, this one didn't need to go as long as it did. I still think it was a great match. Don't get me wrong, it's still a very good match. And the bumps they take are ridiculous.
The shit we did in the back half was great. That is when a missile drop kick is standing out. It's that the 2 women are really good. And they're both really good. But again, the problem is they had to fill 5 minutes and we didn't. Because it's not, if you're given a time limit that doesn't suit you, it's not a death sentence if you work your way around it. Like my best example of this is last year, Ryu Lee versus Hiromu, where the way they wrestle is perfect for a match that goes between 10 and 15 minutes. They gave them 25. So they gave them like 24. So what did they do for the 7 minutes where they couldn't really do anything? They slapped each other. Yeah, they found a way around it. It's not definitely just need to find a way around it. I think the way they found around the time limit didn't suit them wasn't the most elegant solution. Because I'm not saying both women are like awful grapplers because they're not, they're not laughably bad. They're just not at all interesting. There's nothing. The grappling sequence is there to fill time and literally nothing else.
Do you think this way because neither woman is going to finish the match with.
I guess that's partly it. It's like it's objecting not part of the game, but that doesn't really need to like. What kind of thing? Like I'm trying. There's an example in my head that's gone, but like it's a case of you don't need to all be someone who finishes people on the mat to have a compelling grappling exchange.
Did like, you not just see it as a callback to their 5-star match from last year?
No, not really. I didn't.
That's how I just read it as, you know, that whole we fought each other once before. Let's see how much we've improved. Let's see what's changed. Because that's I know how that's how they started the 5-star match from last year.
Maybe.
So to me, it didn't bother me.
But they did. It didn't really further anything in any noticeable way for me.
All right, fair enough. I'm not going to argue with you. There's very little point, but just in general.
Why's the sound of a defeated man? I've been podcasting with this guy for 3 years now. And been longer than that. It's been like 4 years now, hasn't it?
Has, yeah, 4 years. Where was my anniversary gift, dickhead?
I assumed you were going to be a man and get me a gift.
Why would I have to get you a gift?
Why would I have to get you a gift?
I have you on my podcast, and this is how you repay me. No, but genuinely, that closing stretch again was really, really cool.
Because that's where both Julia and Mayu excel, is in amazing closing sequences.
Quick paced, hard hitting. Yeah, it's exactly what I wanted from this match, condensed into that closing stretch. Mm-hmm. Do you know what? I know you complained about the transition from the moonsault into the guillotine.
But
I still liked it.
It's great. No, it's a really cool move. I just don't want it to overuse it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's the same as I have with the through the ropes Hurricane Rana that Azumi does, or the apron DDT that Starlight used to do.
If this match was like 4 or 5 dates into the tournament and she did it again, I probably wouldn't even give it a second thought. The fact that they're back to back, that's why it stuck with me.
Fair enough. I can't argue with that. It is a taste thing as well, I think, as well. Overall, Chris, then, obviously, Mayu gets the win. Were you surprised by Mayu getting the win?
What I liked was it's like the one piece of story from this match I gleaned from it, because otherwise it was just like a match that banged for 2/3 of it and a match that I found boring for the other third. One thing I liked was Julia going back to Julia and losing. Like, because she came out, like, she made a big deal.
She's in different gear, yeah. The whole like her new gear thing, yeah.
Yeah, and she had, like, it was reminiscent of her old gear. She was blonde again. Like, instead of, like, the dirty blonde she was, of the orange or whatever, she went back and, like, she's clearly trying to invoke, okay, Julie, I went on this weird side story. Julia's back.
Well, I'm back now, yeah.
Yeah, and it just shown that, like, Julia fucking sucked.
It's an interesting story beat, especially if it's something that she goes on to then carry on with in the tournament.
I hope it goes like crazier, like she just starts going mad with it, kind of thing. Because basically, I don't want this to turn into a balloon Okada, where basically he started a balloon, lost 2 matches, then went undefeated in G1, and everyone says it was an amazing story arc when it was just sort of Okada with balloons.
Armani Shoe Exchange has made that exact parallel, saying it's shades of Okada coming back as his old self at Wrestle Kingdom 13 and then losing to Jay White.
At that point, commit to the fucking storyline.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, because Julia was new Julia against Starlight and won. She was OG against Mayu and lost.
Yeah.
So, like, at that point, commit to the storyline. If she's going to try and, like, go for that, have her lose a lot then.
Which, to be fair, we don't know what
we don't know where
is with Julia on night 3 and night 4. We've seen nothing, so
we don't know where the fuck this is going. But like, if it's going back to like, if this is the story beat we're going down, and they're like, Julia is losing her way a bit, they can't do what we did with Balloon Okada, where they have him lose twice, because it was to White and then Fale. I can't remember. This is a G1 from
28
4 years ago.
G1 28. Can't remember who we lost to on the opening night. Jay White was night 1.
Yeah, Jay was night 1, and then he lost. Then he went undefeated in the tournament.
Yeah, he lost the first 2 and then went undefeated. Did he lose? Yeah. He didn't lose to Tanner, did he? Oh no, he drew with Tanner.
He drew with Tanner, but like that's just part of their G1 thing. So like that's completely fine. Like he even beat Suzuki.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, it was just like his record was not dissimilar at all to previous G1s for Okada.
Yeah. Commit to it here. If this is something that you're going to do, give Julia a losing record in the 5-star is what you're saying.
Yeah, like it, like because having a bad tournament doesn't need to be it's not death now. It like it all matters in the context of what's happening. If it's doing this thing where Julia's losing her way, that's completely fine. And then you can have her get like maybe one big win in the tournament, and then that can give her because as essentially she's still the winningest person in Stardom, as you said.
Yeah.
So like definitely. She has the record to just go and go. No, I have a claim for it, because that's basically how Stardom seems to run. If you have half a claim, they'll give you the match.
Yeah.
So she doesn't need to have a good 5-star. She just needs to flash out a character, basically.
Okay. What are you giving the match then?
3/4. It was really good. The fact that I didn't like so much of the first bit kind of drags it.
Okay. I gave it 4 because, like I say, that opening didn't bother it for me, really. I think I was a little bit distracted by the fact that Julia would come out in completely different attire, like I said. But if they're making that into some sort of story, which again we don't know because we haven't seen the results of night 3 and night 4, that could be great. That could be. Really
that distracts you. You must have got really distracted during Finn Balor matches when he came out as Demon. It's like, oh, he looks completely different.
Jack the Ripper Balor. What?
To be fair, that was distracting. To be fair, it's like,
was.
oh, you're coming out as notorious
serial killer.
Yeah, notorious murderer of prostitutes, Jack the Ripper. Not based at all.
So a quick look at the blocks, though, of course, still very, very early going. Some people have only had one match. Some people have had no matches whatsoever. We have got in red block with 2 points. We have got Julia, Momo, Kaguma, Mina Shirakawa, and Mayu. On 0 points, we've got Himika. We have Natsupo's also on 2. Sorry, Himika has got none. Starlight's got 2. Don't know why I haven't finished that. Kashima hasn't got any, and neither has Fukiken Death. In blue block, we have got Utami on 2, Syuri on 4, Tam on 2, Sayaka Matani on none, Maika on 2, Azumi on none, Riwaka on none, Konami on none, Unagi Sayaka on 4. Joint top of the block, and Takumi Iroha obviously yet to have a tournament match. In regard to Unagi, Chris, we have had a question on Facebook from listener Philip Shaw, who I know listens quite a lot, and hopefully he's here now. Hello, Philip, if you're here. He's asked, what do you think of Unagi getting a big push at the start of the 5-star? Do you think she will or should win any more big matches, or will they just have her going on a losing streak for the rest of the 5-star? I personally think the latter bit. I think they've given her 2 wins to start off with, and then I think she will just become a penny, to be perfectly honest.
Like, you need to build up her credibility if you're going to put the future strap on her, and that's what they're doing. They're both coded as fairly fluky wins.
Exactly. So, they weren't definitive by any stretch.
So, like, yeah, people just learn from seeing that not to take Unagi lightly, and then she'll get put back in her place. Basically,
I
because she needed a big win, and if she was going to beat a champion, she's not going to challenge Tam. So
yeah, I imagine there'll be an interesting storyline with Syuri based on their SWA match.
But like basically, what I'm expecting from that is what their SWA match should have been.
Yeah, exactly. Just Syuri beating the shit out of us for 6 minutes. I mean, you look at who she's got left. She's got Utami, Syuri, Sayaka Matani, Maika, Riwaka, Konami, and Takumi Iroha.
Yeah. Like, here's the thing. She doesn't have a hope in hell in most of them. The only one I think she'd have a hope in hell with is Riwaka, and she's probably going to beat her to set up a challenge. So
I imagine that the only person she's got the only big name out of those that might lose is perhaps Sayaka Matani.
Maybe if they like, I wouldn't be mad if Saya went winless.
I don't think she'll go winless. I don't think she'll go winless at all. I think she will get points, and I think she'll be higher up the block. But I do think that she is the kind of person that will take Unagi too lightly and will lose.
Yeah.
And also, you think about the way that she's lost against Syuri and Utami, trying to overcomplicate things or trying, not capitalizing when she can. That storyline works against someone like Unagi. But in answer to your question, Philip, I think that Unagi maximum maybe gets 2 more points for her to push.
Mm-hmm. Like Unagi's been someone who does well in tournaments so far. Like she did well in the Cinderella.
She got through to the semis of the Cinderella.
Yeah, she went to the finals of the mini tournament for the future.
Yeah, agreed.
So like she's just coded to do well in tournaments because people take her lightly.
Yeah. Just a little bit of preview news going into the rest of the 5-star tour. We've had a few title matches announced, and this is courtesy of @1222 Dragon Moon. At Korakuen on the 13th of August, Unagi will take on Mei Sakurai for the Future of Stardom Championship. On the 14th, the following day in Nagata, we have got the Goddess of Stardom title match between ALK and Konami and Ruaka. On the 29th of August in Shiodome, or Shiodome, I assume Shiodome, I might be wrong. We have got the winner of the Unagi or Mei match for the future. The winner of that will take on Rina for the Future of Stardom Championship. I know that she came out and said to Unagi, the future belts for future stars, you're like well old, which just great. I love it. Natsupoi versus Starlight Kid is also on that show on the 29th of August. And then finally, the next Artist of Stardom Championship that has been announced will be the 4th of September with the Cosmic Angels team of Tamina and Unagi taking on My Himipoi for the 6-1 belts.
Did you really have to put it like that?
What, My Himipoi?
My Himipoi. It sounds like a backwards lyric on a Beatles album.
It does. I just love saying My Himipoi. Of those matches, Chris, what are you most invested in? What are you looking forward to?
I'm not, in terms of like Stardom, the only thing I'm really invested in right now is a 5-star. These title matches are superfluous to say. I take it these are on like quiet days for the 5-star.
You would assume so, aside from the 13th, which is the Korakuen show.
And they're just trying to load it more because it's a Korakuen show.
So you would assume so.
So these are just filler for days we don't have anything big on for the 5-star, I assume.
And you would assume that with that being the Korakuen, the 13th, I think there is 5-star dates for that show. Mm-hmm. So there'll be 5-star matches on that show. Obviously, you aren't going to have an Artist of Stardom Championship match on that card because you've got the 5-star and you've got Unagi defending the future. So it wouldn't surprise me if Maika Himika and Natsupoi take the belts in September, but there we are.
Yeah, because Cosmic Angels have really ran their course as the Artist champs.
Well, there's not many combinations of teams left for Cosmic Angels to actually beat.
No.
So they have run through everyone. They've run through 2 iterations of Queen's Quest. They've already broken the amount of successful defenses. I think they're on 8 successful defenses now, and I think this will be the 9th. So aside from if they're trying to break the record for days, which I think stands at 280 days, which they can't be far off, they might. I don't think they quite will get it by the 4th of September, but I doubt Stardom give a shit about that. Armani Shuix, Velkage has just said he thinks that Unagi retains, Starlight wins, Unagi retains, and then DDM win the Artist of Stardom Championships, which I don't disagree with.
I see nothing big changing aside from maybe the Artist, but that's not exactly a big thing changing.
No.
It just changes. It just changes for 6 months that we have to care about from now on.
Do you know what? I think they've done a good job with Cosmic Angels and the Artist belt. Because we talked about this though.
No, because that's the thing about Cosmic Angels. You don't their problems are the shit between the moves, not mostly.
Yeah,
they can hit their spots basically, and that's all you need to do in a 6-man match. Especially when you're definitely not going to be the emotional core of that match if Tam and other big wrestlers are in there.
Absolutely. Armani Shoe Exchange just said, I think My Himipoi was set to win the Artist belts until Himika got hurt, and that's why they pivoted with the draw. I did wonder why why that went to a draw, in fairness, but I suppose that does make sense. Obviously, Himika went out just after that, so it would make sense. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we've gone over 3 hours, which is absolutely baffling. Thank you to everyone that has stayed with us on the stream for those 3 hours. We apologize to anyone that is going to be listening to the podcast audio of this and realize that it goes 3 hours, but we really do appreciate it. Hopefully you like this, the way we've done it today. Hopefully we get lots of positive feedback. If there's anything you want to feedback, let us know, and we'll try and accommodate that. Otherwise, you can find us on Twitter at the Stardom Cast. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, whatever you use. We are everywhere. Subscribe to our Twitch stream, the Stardom Cast, twitch.tv/the Stardom Cast to check us out there, as well as the Real Podmania for YouTube. You can find all our merch at Teespring.
Podmania?
I imagine so, somewhere. I imagine so.
Dirty
identity thieves.
There's Gaff, but it's he's Scouse instead of.
If you do fancy donating some money, that'd be great. We've got a coffee shop set up. The Stardom Cast again.
I got confused.
No pressure at all.
We have a coffee shop.
An actual coffee shop. We have a job, but it's mainly for laundering money.
Are you a barista?
I am. I can do the little shamrock on top of a cup of coffee. I can't at all.
I can stir sugar.
I can stir sugar.
I have an amazing community mug.
Nobody cares about your damn community mug.
I do. Try an Abbott in the morning.
You can talk to me on Twitter at RealRobGoodwin. Chris, where can they find you?
At Crystal Puro. Also, I just released a Stardom video on my YouTube channel.
He has. Go and check it out. It's decent.
It's my first Stardom video.
It is.
I haven't been crucified yet.
Not yet.
But the way I look, it's only a matter of time.
Lovely Jesus reference. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time on not the 15th, the 22nd of August, hopefully, reviewing whatever else has happened in the 5-star Grand Prix, Stardom World permitting, like we've just said, or like we said at the start, fingers crossed. But until then, thank you so much, and we'll see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.